Okay. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to the draft. Woo! Okay, so let's do introductions, all right? So I'm Ali. So Ascendance on season 3. Big flopped, but like yeah, have a fun time, love Ascendance. But yeah, who wants to introduce themselves next, bro?
I'll go. Hello, my name is Jodalee with 2 L's, and it's very important you get both of them. I played in season 2, and if you round, I placed in first, and that's what's important here tonight.
I love it.
I am Kira Devaney. I am season 3, placed in 10th, second jury member with my boy Ali.
I was first.
Yeah, he was first in the house, and I was second. And good times.
Hi, everybody. My name is Keaton. I competed on Ascendance Live Season 2 and 3, where I flopped. No, seriously. My name is Brandon. I did not compete on Ascendance Live, but I did compete in regular Ascendance, where I was a final pre-juror in Season 6? I don't fucking remember.
Oh, I didn't even know you played. I'm Peyton, your very first second placer. The first person that was ever robbed by a bitter jury.
There you go.
Damn. Peyton should have won. Take that, Edmund.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so anyways, so the way we're doing this draft is pretty simple. We keep it simple to the point, okay? So we have a randomized list. Jodalee, Ali, Kira, Peyton, and then Brandon. Spell it right? Okay, spell it right. Anyways, so so we'll do snake style. So Jodalee will pick first, and then followed by the order, and then fifth person will pick twice. So we'll come, yeah. There's 5 of us, so 5 divided by 20 is 4. So we have 4 people each. Okay, you get it? So we'll start off with Jodalee with our first pick. Look at the little graph.
Gosh, this is tough being first. There's such a good cast, but since I'm first up and I won't get to see the sunrise for a long time, I'm gonna go with someone that I feel like would be a hot ticket, and so I'm just gonna reach for them, take them off the table now. I guess I'll go into more of the description of them after which, but I am going to pick Adam Michael Kennedy.
Fuck you, bro.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That was my first.
Good pick.
Adam, obviously, this is his second chance, and he was the first person eliminated off of his season originally. But Adam is such a well-studied, smooth operator, oh, hey, come here, I want to make a deal with you. Like, he knows how to make you feel like the only person in the room. And I think he has an extremely strong partner with Taylor. I also feel like he's so good, like physically, socially, all of it. And on top of, I went home first. Would you guys really send me home early again? I am expecting to hear that line at some point. So I think Adam is... A second chance season seems so perfect for Adam to really come back and burn it up. So I have to take Adam. I'm taking AMK.
AMK, the man, the myth, the legend.
I love him. He's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Great pick. Great first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Way to fight first in, first out.
Now,
any thoughts on Adam?
I was just going to add as well. Mind you, with the menage a trois he went on for the first episode, even seeing him say like, so Billy, what are you going to do this time? In my mind, between the 3 people who are returning from season 3, Adam, Billy, and Josh, I don't know if I expect a 3 Musketeers season 3 forever alliance. And I hope it doesn't come back to haunt any of them, but I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's Adam's time. I do.
I feel like he has absolutely nothing to lose to, like, he can come in and play absolutely however the fuck he wanted to, and like there's nothing to compare it to. So he can literally just like do nothing or like just be chill.
He might as well be a new player.
The walls. Like, no one's gonna blame him for doing anything because he literally can.
Also,
he kind of has a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, literally, he had that get out of jail free card. Literally, there's nowhere to go for him but up. And even if he is first boot, it's kind of iconic.
Oh,
It
I
is
don't
almost.
think it'll
I hope.
happen.
I hope it doesn't happen though.
Yeah,
I think it sounds like there's a lot of people who have watched previous seasons, and most likely the most recent season is season 3. So depending on how you start, do you start from 1 or 3? Probably maybe from 3, just because 1 was a lot different in terms of where it was and also the time span. But everything else is pretty much the same. So I think it's, and then you saw Adam when he got his reward. What was it, like a captain? No, a
Like a
team swap or something.
Team swap.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't even care if they say swap breakfast, right? Like he is willing to do anything, any way to get in someone's good favor. Like he's going for it.
I love him. My favorite person. He got so robbed in our season, Kira. Like this man legit deserves a second chance, and like he honestly, if he did not go home first in season 3, he would have made it like extremely far. So
Yeah, who
I'm really
knows?
happy.
Who knows?
I think he's top 5. But yeah, let's move on.
Who you picking?
I will pick. Okay. I'm gonna pick Rachel, bro. Rachel.
Okay.
Fuck you, bitch.
Wait, why? Sorry, okay, so for Rachel, I think Rachel, super loud presence, super fun, energetic, outgoing. I feel like people like that usually make it far in Ascendance because it's like really a big social game. So that's why I picked her, and she's fun, good vibes. So yeah, any thoughts on her?
Yeah, I think she can also like kind of go. She's loud and in your face, but she's not so in your face where like it's a problem. She knows how to
not in your face that, like you want the like warmness to like come for you. So like there's gonna be like conversations around her, but like in a good and bad way. So like
yeah. I also will say I remember watching Rachel like when she competed in Ascendance and she got very, very far. And it was pretty much from what my memory of, she was definitely a power player in that season. And then I hosted Rachel in Triumph with that game, but she did play Triumph. I think she has the potential to go very far. I'm just really curious to see which side of like the coin flip it is, because she's someone who's either going to go very far or is going to go very early, and there is no in between.
That's fair. I think the Menage a Trois that she was on with Taylor and Barker. Blaker. Sorry. Blaker. So sorry. What is it? The Fruit Fly Alliance. I think that's. I actually think there might be some legs to that, you know. And you already know that Blaker and Taylor have some type of a previous relationship. I feel like Rachel is that type of personality that will just meld. It doesn't matter that she was part of that relationship before or now, but she has that personality to kind of like almost be the glue of them two. Not that she needs to be there, but help make that alliance stronger.
Gosh, I have never competed against Rachel in anything. However, I've seen her compete sometimes. However, just from the little experience I have of Rachel, and she's so bubbly, so orgs, Portland, Thomasy Bar, like her way of speaking is just so unique. However, even just from the little bit I know of her, as fun as she is, as bubbly as she is, she's no sucker, you know? And she definitely knows her way around a game. Coming into it, the fact that she's one of 2 people with a partner that she didn't pick for herself could be a deficit. But actually between Rachel and Erica, I feel like they balance each other out so well that to me, I don't even see it as a concern for the 2 of them. I think she has a lot of energy, and I am hoping the best for her. So, and her picture.
I think we'll see some of the best confessionals from Rachel.
Absolutely.
The personality of the season.
And also, guilty wish. She does everything with all of her heart, including argue. So I hope at some point someone tries to get into it with her and we get to see that on camera.
I need to see Rachel in a full-blown fight with someone this season. It would
Are we asking for a Coliseum Part 2?
Let's get into the Coliseum. Yeah.
And she has one of the pick your beds. So where do we think she's going to pick her bed?
Oh,
That is
gosh.
true.
See,
Does she
listen.
choose the Coliseum?
Don't pick the Coliseum.
How interesting. How interesting indeed.
Good luck, Rachel.
Love her, but
yeah, big ups for Rachel. I think she'll do well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kira,
I think I saw her shout out a lot last season while in the live streams for season 3. So shout out for that.
She's excited.
Yeah, I bet. I'm excited for her. Okay, so for my pick, I'm kind of feeling on the same track as Jodalee, and I'm feeling a little bit. I think this is the returner season. I think there are a good amount of returners. I think they have enough connections, and I think if they get smart and they try to stay, Ascendance strong, that might be a good route to take. And I'm hoping this benefits Christopher from season 2. So. Yeah, so Christopher had a similar story to Adam, where Christopher was second boot, right? Didn't even really get to experience much. And you saw him talking a little bit about that in the first episode in the pool room. And he has also, again, we're talking about big personality. So he's like the combo of Rachel and Adam, right? Where he has that big, fun, loving personality that you just want to get behind and is a magnet. And I think based off of his experience from last time, he has that leg up just enough where it's not threatening, but I think it will help propel his game.
From what I know about him, he seems like he's very good at like learning from his mistakes. Like every time I've seen him play something, he gets better and better and better because he knows what to like apply to like what he did wrong last time.
Yeah, extremely perceptive, I think.
Yeah, super excited to watch it. That's a great pick.
Thank you.
I still have it in my little notebook from season 2 of like, night 1, I was like, oh my goodness. So like, who's your biggest competition? And I still have it written down that out of everyone after night 1, I was like, Christopher is 100% my biggest competition because like Christopher, it's almost like spiritual, like how calm and cool he is. He's such like a soothing presence. That's like the best word I can use is like soothing.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it wasn't for like the freak accident that led to him going home the round that he did, I genuinely was like, he's top 5 for sure. And the thing about Christopher is that he played the org, I want to say season 10, the same season with Drew and Erica. And I know that a big part of him going into Ascendance Live was like, he said, I feel like I have more to give. And this coming back for the second chance of a live game, I think out of all the people who are coming back, I dare say Christopher might be the one who strikes me as like, if anyone's going to give their everything to this, it is going to be Christopher. And the scary thing is you may not even know it. He's so kind and so cool and so friendly. But I think this season, I'm anticipating there to be no holds barred from him. And I am so excited for him to get his time. I'm season 2 biased, of course, but I'm really, really pulling for Christopher. And I hope he does super, super well. And I'm jealous of your pick.
I feel like that carry him is the fact that he's not like cocky and he just is kind of just like naturally playing the game, and he doesn't let any of that like personality like frontness get in front of him because he doesn't have that. He's just naturally progresses.
Absolutely.
And also in connection to his partner, Chris Yu, I feel like the both of them very much know how to underplay their own threat level. I mean, Chris Yu, so tiny, the curly hair, the big glasses, like, how could you ever say this is the biggest threat in the game? Christopher, the stylish hair, the friendliness, the everything he rubs her shoulders. Who's ever going to say Christopher Lanier is the biggest threat either? But both of them are absolutely players who know what to do. So I'm excited to see how much they get away with.
I know, and I think also that like Christopher and Taisha, I really hope that, and it seems at least in the first episode that they might want to work together, and I really hope that does kind of solidify, because I also like I see big things coming from Taisha also, and I think them two together, because they have that similar like chill personality, but also like they know how to get shit done. So I think this is going to be a great season, a fantastic cast. I can't wait to get through the rest of this.
I'm so excited. Any words on Christopher Brandon?
I'm good. Y'all said what pretty much was said.
Yeah, I love Christopher. I think that he's gonna do really well. Peyton, you're next, my boy. Who are you gonna pick?
Right. I thankfully my first Rachel was my second pick, so thankfully my first one is still there. This person I played in his very first live game, Mayhem Manor, with, and we have been the absolute best friends ever since. I think that he is a force to be reckoned with. He puts his all into everything he does. Quite literally. It's kind of scary sometimes. But I'm excited to see how he does. And he would absolutely kill me if he wasn't my first pick anyway. So I'm gonna pick Chris G.
Oh, let's go.
He's great. He's stylish. I already know his confessionals are gonna eat. He is like one of the most dramatic people, but in like the best way possible. Like he knows he's on a reality TV show, and he knows he's gotta give with those confessionals. Like he doesn't hold anything back. I'm super excited to see like what he does this season. He's great. He's hilarious. One of the most genuine people I know, but he wears his emotions on his sleeve. So hopefully that doesn't get him in trouble.
That might make him like a great partner with Alex, because it seems like Alex is really hard at doing that. I am a little bit worried for Alex in the beginning of this game. I think he seems like he's social enough where like he's not completely handicapped, but like I think because this is such a big personality cast, like you said, even his partner has such a big personality. It's either going to really help him to be able to fold in the back, or it's going to really hurt him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think Chris is a great pick.
Goodness.
Weirdly, I feel like it'd actually be like better to have a bigger personality this season, because I don't really know many people here who are very like, under the radar, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say it. They're loud. You can say they're loud mouths.
Come down to like, there is so many people who do have these huge like reality TV personalities. Like it's either they're all going to eat each other from the beginning, or they're all going to work together. The quiet people.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why if you are the quiet person, maybe it's good to stay quiet, right?
Right. Stay quiet and under your partner who is loud.
Yeah, let them cannibalize each other while you just kind of like hang out with your partner and hope you have enough people in your corner.
Goodness. So for the longest time, I had never met Chris G. However, he was on my Facebook.com recommended friends. And for the longest time, whenever I would click and just be like, oh, how do you do? The first thing I ever learned about Chris G, his Facebook banner, I don't know if this is what it is now, but his Facebook banner was him like on the ground, like bawling in tears. And I was like, what? And then I read the description and he was like, who would have ever thought marbles could do this to me? And I was like, what? And so is that still his banner?
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? Marbles? And so just from the little I've heard of him from Mayhem Manor, getting to see him interact with him the first episode, I absolutely get the sense that in a house of leaders, Chris G, who is a part of one of the few pairs with no Ascendance alum on it, I feel like Chris G might get treated like a bit more of a rookie, but Chris G is no rookie. Chris G already seems to be someone who is unafraid to make connections, is unafraid to speak his mind, and is very much unafraid to cut deals. Him and Alex, I think, are also one of the pairs where they met in a competition. So like the both of them know already kind of how to operate with each other under pressure, I assume. Like some of these people may not know.
In that same Marble season, Alex won that whole entire live game.
Well, Alex won.
How
did Chris do? How did Chris do?
He did pretty well. The one I met him in, he had lost the marbles, and then that one where he was crying, he won the marbles. The same comp that he lost.
Wow.
The marbles really like get to him, but Alex ended up winning.
That's amazing. So that speaks big words to his game too.
Yeah. I kind of equate for this season, Chris G, I kind of already see a lot of like Aussie-ness with Chris G.
Aussie? Okay.
In season 3, I remember walking into it, I was like, oh, Aussie's never done anything about this before. And he's got a big attitude, he's got big opinions, and he's not afraid to voice them. I don't know how this will go. And then like in that cast, like that like forwardness and straightforwardness, like it resonated with a lot of people, and he made it incredibly far. And I kind of see the same kind of road for Chris G, where if people aren't threatened by it, and as a matter of fact, if they are like drawn in by it, Chris G, I have a feeling, will know what to do with an alliance if he gets one or two. So
yeah, and I think there's some people in this game that would really respect that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also,
I love his style.
His little bandana is so cute. It's so perfect the way that he tied it.
Ascot.
Yeah.
And the purple hair, fresh boy.
Also, like if he dyed his hair purple for the game, points for dedication for the season.
I agree. So Brandon, you get 2, I believe, right? So
yeah,
yes.
I do have 2 picks. I'll be honest, I didn't think too much of this because Nin asked me to do this last minute. Thank you, Nin. Love you bits. I'm going to pick a returnee and a newbie because I feel like there's like equal chances. I also don't want to bunch up on the return, like, all returnees, because that'd be fucking cowardly. But I've had my eye on a particular returnee from watching the cast reveals. They did very well in their initial season. I thought they had a very good chance to win. And my money on them as a game player, I feel like they always have a very good chance to make it far based on their social games. So I'm going to pick Taisha.
Ooh. Really good pick.
Taisha did insanely well during their first season with Ascendance. It took a pendant to pretty much take them out of the game at 5th place. I know Taisha from watching them in other games, and they've done extremely well in so many different games. Honestly, my money is on Taisha to go, honestly, just as far as she did the first time, if not all the way.
Great pick.
Taisha always makes like final 6 or above in every game I've seen her in. Seen them.
She literally never disappoints.
Yeah. Like, it's either she goes insanely far or there's a massive move to take her out. But like with the cast, I think Taisha honestly has the skills to just very much slide through everything.
I agree. And the cast photo?
She looks good, yeah.
She's
eating.
Okay, goodness. I have certainly written in my notebook about Miss Taisha Tice as well. You know what? I'm on a metaphor kick now that I started with Chris G. This may be a high comparison, but I honestly still feel it. I feel like Taisha plays very similar to Suri in the sense that, like, at the beginning, is Taisha the best at challenges? Maybe not all of them. Is Taisha the loudest voice in the room? Perhaps not. But going through my season, I remember I was like, honestly, I don't have a connection with Taisha, but yet her name is never like brought up because why would she ever be the biggest fish on the fry to get rid of? But at the same time, she's so sweet, she's so Southern. But Taisha, I feel, she doesn't let things stand in her way. If she identifies a problem, she doesn't even need to let you know it's a problem. It's just we got that. I got it noted, and I'm going to go take care of it. I'll be right back, and I'll have no sweat on my brow at all. Taisha Taisha knows how to move without being noticed, and she knows how to be so lovable to people all at the same time, There's never like a reason to get rid of Taisha. And I am, in the back of my mind, I am like, there's no way that in this season of such huge placements and personalities that people are going to let Taisha slide. But you know what? Never underestimate Taisha Tice, Oh, goodness.
And I think what's also benefiting Taisha is, let's be real here, season 3 and the entire drama between like Billy and Josh, like everyone's going to be looking towards that initially.
That's
and
true.
nowhere near Taisha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's her partner? Oh, Eli. Now see, here's the thing. I think Taisha's a good match for Eli as well, because Eli has connections to players that Taisha herself may not have connections to initially. With, in the first episode, they mentioned that Eli and Tyler are roommates, I believe. And
Taylor. Right?
Taylor, my bad. Yes, Eli and Taylor have a connection. And I think amongst the alumni, Taisha knows Josh, Taisha knows Billy, Taisha knows Christopher. I think the two of them have a great span of relationships to work with that I think people might not even realize going into it. So I expect great things.
Is that it? Do I make my second pick now?
Yeah.
Wait. I don't think your mic is working, Gorley. Yeah.
Hello?
She was like talking and we couldn't
hear her. We can't hear you right now.
No.
Try disconnecting and then reconnecting. Sometimes that helps. It's a classic IT thing. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
I hear a crackle.
I heard a crackle, but now you're actually muted.
It says you're muted on your screen.
And how's now?
There it is.
Okay, now you're good.
She was like talking the whole time, probably.
I'm so sorry. I think I was. No, you're all good. You guys were all saying the great things about Taisha. Mm-hmm. So I agree. That's my girl.
Oh, who can love Taisha? So Brandon, you pick again.
Yeah. For this next pick, I'm between two people, and I'm not exactly sure which way to go, but I'm gonna trust my gut on this, and based off of the first episode and kind of watching things, I'm like second guessing myself. Holy shit.
Go with your gut.
This person I have played a live game with before. I've only played one live game, which is 1984 Live Season 1. This person I was targeting incessantly, and he was a crown coach that would not fucking die. And for that reason, I had to pick Eric McHenry. I have known him before. He joined Ascendance, and like we went back all the way to fucking 10 gauge. That fucking cesspool of a website.
Oh god.
He may not look like it initially. The man is insanely smart. Like I cannot sing the praises of how insanely smart this man actually is. And I just have high hopes for him, I guess. And I think I really hope he does well. I genuinely hope he does well, because my God, was he a bitch to take out in 1984 Live.
I'm always the type of person to like bring the heat to these things. So I'm just going to say what my thoughts. I don't know him really that well. But to me personally, he feels like the type of person who probably will go far, but is very cocky and will rub certain viewers the wrong way because of that. And I feel like he knows he's a good player, and he will try to use that, and it'll work against him, but it'll work just enough for him that he'll make it far, probably find an idol, probably play it correctly. Like, he's that type of person that, like, you don't want to root for them, but they're doing so well that, like, they're doing
basically
the game.
Josh in season 4 or season 3 got it.
Yeah, and we're not even gonna deny it. Eric is very much a villain. I think even he admits that.
Yeah. And then he's just like that type of person where there's always someone like on Big Brother, on Survivor, on Ascendance who plays the game so well, but for some reason they just don't jive with who I personally root for ever. So like no shade to Eric himself, like good luck, but that's just like my vibes with him right now.
Yeah, no, Peyton, I think I have similar vibes of like, I don't know if there's someone that I would root for. They're probably going to do well. Sounds like they're making ties with Jim and Matt and things like that. And I think Michael will probably be good for him because Michael is so very much the opposite. I think Michael is a very he has a lot of humility and is very chill and laid back. Like we played the Ascendance mini together, and he went very, very far. But the whole time he's kind of hey, I'm not that big of a threat, but let me tell you, he knows how to curate relationships. He knows how to talk to people. So if Eric is kind of making some ruffles, I really am curious to see how these teams with these partners, how much they're able to buffer things off of their partners.
Yeah, I'm insanely curious.
I see him as someone who would throw Michael under the bus.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yes. Yeah.
Without a shout, if I were to place bets on the I voted off my mom stereotype, it would be Eric or Henry.
Oh my god, yo.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what? Eric, I've had the pleasure of playing a live game with Eric myself. Shout out Synergy, of course.
Oh yeah, you won that, right?
Yeah, Eric and Garrett, winners of season 2 of Synergy. Those
yes.
But
But
it wasn't. It's not a voting game per se. However, deals were certainly made. And between Eric and I, somehow or another, there was a deal broken. I broke a deal with Eric, right? However, one thing that I just can't remember. It's been so long. But one thing that I observed about Eric from playing a game with him, Eric is one of those people that's permanently smiling, and Eric is, he's so tiny, so pint-sized. I think a lot of people underestimated Eric's capabilities because he's just I'm just this, I'm an actor from Virginia, I'm so boring. That's how he advertises himself. But at the same time, Eric is someone whose mind is always whirring, always going. He was never on the bad side of the numbers, at all, because everyone was if we just need to pick someone up, let's pick up cute little Eric, And in a game like this, mind you, I've seen Eric. He's won 1984 the org, I think what does he say? What did he say at Synergy? He's played 3 orgs and got first, and second. Even though Eric has not necessarily
It's a big resume.
Yeah. Even though Eric has not necessarily touched Ascendance, behind the quietness and all that, Eric hides a lot of wisdom for someone who doesn't necessarily do this all that often.
Yeah.
I would like to think in my heart that he would not betray Michael Davis, the host who's known him for so long.
No, he would.
But if anything, I think Eric is very motivated to win,
Yeah.
And ultimately, especially in a house, if this is the house of big personas, if the people think, oh, look at this cute little hairy tater tot,
Oh my God.
that might be the wrong decision. I call him that. No one else call him that. I call him that.
I'm feeling that.
Cheers to Eric.
I'm really curious to see if his knowledge of getting first, second, all of this stuff, and he's never played Ascendance. Ascendance is so different.
Or a live game at this point.
Yeah, the live game that
if he can't get the grasp on it, if he just thinks that, oh, I got first and second and first, this knowledge is gonna get me. No, you got to know Ascendance, babe. You got to grasp Ascendance. So
I was gonna say, he only played one live game before. He did get, I believe it was 8th in that. Mostly because I was targeting his ass from day one. And it was only 2 days. But everything happened so quick during 1984 Live, so he left at the end of day 1, which that was the entirety of it. I think with Ascendance being much slower, it'll allow him time to compartmentalize all the deals he's making and not fuck up like he did on Live.
I think he's smart enough to grasp the format, so we'll see how it's
I'll say this too. Alex also is from 1984 season 1. And for the first episode, I do think I kind of saw Eric gravitate more towards the biggest example being Jim and Matt and being oh my God, I don't know how to play tic-tac-toe. Ooh. And I feel there wasn't much mention of Eric's relationship with Alex coming into this, Eric's relationship with Michael coming into this. Maybe that does speak more to how coming into this, he's going to be self-serving.
Well, you even saw that when they were...
He's so sweet.
He might be. I think there's going to be quite a few villains this season. It's going to be
always
a fight.
It's always the sweetest to have the knives ready.
I just know that if there's ever an Ascendance heroes versus villains, 95% of the villains are
yes, they're already competing.
All right, Mom.
Yeah, for sure.
But we'll get into them.
All right.
Perfect. Okay, so Peyton, you're next, homie.
I'm between two people. And I'm going to save the person that I want to pick just because I do also know them and I want to kind of branch my team out a little bit. Just based off kind of the first episode and like pregame stuff that I watched, I really have just been gravitating towards her. And I'm just really curious to see how this family dynamic works. So I'm going to pick Grace.
Yes,
bro, that was my pick.
And I really was like in between her and someone else. So like maybe I can get the other person too. But I don't know anything about her. I could listen to her and Billy talk all day long. I think she's gonna be she's gonna have such great confessionals, and she's not even gonna know she's giving us everything that we want. So like she's gonna be such an organic personality. Super excited to watch.
Very organic.
And Grace just seems like such just super sweet lady. Like so humble, so kind. Just you want to get to know her. You wanted to be friends with her, even if her son is Billy Stevens. You want to be friends with her and all that stuff. Like I have so many high hopes for Grace, seeing that this is her first game. Period. No orgs, no live games. Her son dragged her across the fucking world to do this shit. So
I think they're gonna give us what like Suri and Jared should have been giving us. Like nothing's actually gonna happen.
Yes. The only fear I have for Grace is that if someone's going to target Billy Stevens and they can't get to him, they're going to gun for Grace.
Yeah, and if they do that, they know how pissed that's going to make Billy Stevens, which could be like a ploy into make him self-destruct.
I was thinking of the same thing as well. Like if Grace leaves before Billy is going to be on a war path like I don't think any of us have ever seen.
I just hope she doesn't check out if he goes first.
Oh yeah.
I don't think she will. I
don't think she will.
I think like Billy's a part of a pretty competitive family from what I know of him. And I think she's the type of person that like she may play, oh, I'm beaten and worn and now that Billy's gone, oh, what am I gonna do? But I think she'll be smart enough to have enough ties that if something like that happens, she can make an out. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna roll over like some of these survivors are lately.
What you don't know is we have Hannah Rose in the backstage. Hannah, no, no, I don't follow her on Twitter. I don't know her.
Oh.
You know what? I went back and forth with how I thought Grace would do all the way up until the first episode, and I think what two things happened that kind of clicked it into place with me was. During the menage a trois that Billy was a part of, I think we had a moment of Adam saying, like, realistically, like, I don't know if I trust Billy, so I hope I can scoop up Erin up on her own, which doesn't necessarily have to deal with Grace. But Billy does come in with a lot of
baggage.
Yeah, perfect word. And I think Grace is almost at an advantage for not having any ties to any sort of competition ever, because realistically, what would she know about, anything that any of these people have done? And I think there's something so like comforting about someone who is a complete blank slate for everybody, that if she continues to be the beautiful naturally social, mind you, like all of the skills that she like displayed the first episode, she's had no time to practice, and already she's been so nice, so sweet. Everyone has nothing but positive things to say about her. And the other thing that caught my eye was it was like a one-off comment in one of her confessionals of like, oh yeah, I definitely want to spend some time playing pool, getting to know people, but I also know that I need to break away to go look for advantages.
Ooh,
we're thinking about Advantages Night 1. So I'm sure Billy has prepped her a little bit even which that comment just surprised me because I was like, realistically, if she just sat down and said, I don't know anything about advantages, I would be like, yeah, fair. But she's already thinking about the game, at least in that sense. And so I think I'm going to agree with what Kira said of like, Billy's competitive, and while Grace isn't an ogre, like, where do you think he gets it from? And if he gets it from her, and she's all of those traits wrapped up in one, minus the baggage, on top of like the kind sweetheartedness.
Yeah.
I see great things for Grace.
Listen, Mama Grace knows best.
Mama Grace.
I think she's in a good position in the sense that, like, even if they, like, people did try to pin her into something that, like, Billy did in the past or something Billy is doing, she literally, quite literally could say, I've never played these before. Like, it's, like, very silly of them to even try to pin her with anything. She has the leverage to go either way she wants to go.
Yeah.
If I ever saw Grace, I would never vote her off. Like that. I was like, I would take her to all the way to the end. Like, she's so cool, and like, she was the only
out for All Stars. No,
literally just
But I hope. Okay, I feel like the only way she'll do poorly is, let's just say, Billy and herself are like in the bottom, or like they know like they're going home or some shit like that. Grace might be like, vote me off. Please save my son. Just vote for me. I don't want her to sacrifice herself like that, you know, because she said she's there for her son. So I hope she doesn't sacrifice herself so that Billy gets in the game further. You know what I mean? So
I do see Grace doing that. That being said, I don't think Billy would let her. No. I think Billy would let anyone else take the fall, not his family, you know?
And I'm also very interested to see what happens with the pairs twist, because we saw in the first episode that the pairs were basically split up into 4 separate teams. Is it going to be like that the entire time? Are the pairs going to be together? Are they going to even be in that position in the first place? There's so many, like, what the fuck is going to happen?
Right, I'm confused. Like, there has to be something, because why else would they be duo? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, so it's interesting, like with the duos, is usually, at least the way I see Ascendance, is if you aren't, especially in the first couple rounds, if you aren't voting, you kind of like stay out of conversations, or at least you're not like trying to be in every single conversation. You want to kind of know what's going on, but like if there's 3 people that are in on the vote having a conversation and they're really like talking about it, like you kind of can read the room on, okay, should I step out or not? Whereas this, you kind of have an obligation to be in the conversation because maybe one of your duos is on that team. So maybe it's more of an in to being in on conversations, whereas in the past it might make you a bit of a target.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
Anyways, we all stand Grace Stevens.
Yes.
Segue. Kira, you're up next.
Okay. So I'm also between 2 people. I definitely want to make sure it's someone that I don't know. And you know, I think I'm gonna go with. I'm just getting a lot of really good energy from Blaker. And it's not because I mispronounced their name before. But I really think that in a Menage a Trois, it sounds like they were able to kind of like communicate with everybody, and it has that like fun goofiness. Like he was willing to eat the fly and stuff like that. And I think him and Stacy are a good matching of pairs. I think he's doing, like, he already knows Taylor from outside. I forget exactly what, but they know each other. It sounds like they're pretty solid. They're not going to be voting each other's name anytime soon. So I think that's really good for him. Again, I think this Fruit Fly Alliance actually may have some legs. We'll see what happens and how it's tested. But it seems like Rachel, Taylor, and Blake are at least going to be solid. And then who knows if they can bring in their additionals. I think Taylor, like with Adam would work well with any of those personalities. So it's all to see what will come.
Blaker is like, he went from being like an LRG virgin to like playing so many outlets. Like, I've seen him in everything, I feel like, in the last like
really
a lot.
So I feel like he's like in his prime of like playing. And I got like my second places when I was in my prime. I was like, I'm gonna play until like I get to the end. So like that's what I was doing. So like this could be like the same type of thing.
Yeah, I think he's hungry for it. I think, like you said, I didn't know how many he's played, but I know he's played a few. So he definitely, I think, is trying to refine his strategy. Like it sounds like from what you're saying, he's like in that era of like refining strategy, and he just wants to get his next best. And this game, I was kind of in the same position going from Survive, and this was my second game. And for it to be so completely different, and for him, he seems like a pretty social person. And that's what I think this game is really built for, people who are social players who also want to play the game, know how to play advantages. He seems like he can be sly and sneaky, but also very trustworthy to his his day ones. So that's kind of how I'm seeing this little fruit fry alliance that's going on. And I think he's ready to chop some heads when he needs to.
Yeah,
look at his photo. Like he's like freaking ready
to beat them up.
Yeah, he's going for him.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played like a game with Blaker. I think I've seen him, and he's like, we've been around like similar spheres and whatnot. He gives villain. I'm not gonna lie, he very much does give villain to me, and I'm curious to see if that does translate. He seems like he's in a good position. He has the Fruit Flies Alliance. He's already pretty much good with like his duo with Stacy, and then Taylor's duo as well. So even now we see that he already has like inroads here, inroads there, inroads there. And I'm curious to see if kind of that web expands, or like how he kind of plays that, because you're right, this game is very, very social. And it feels like Blaker is already excelling at that from that first round alone. So I'm curious to see how that momentum keeps up.
Yeah.
It's wild though, because those three people, like him and Stacy and Taylor combined, have so much LRG experience. Like Stacy has like 20 something games.
Yeah, I was about to say
23
Taylor
games.
has won twice.
Yeah.
And he is in his prime of playing like I think 4 or 5 in a row. So like
And then Taylor's roommates with Eli, so they know Eli, and then that brings in Taisha. Like there's plus just Adam. So plus Adam. Like there's just so much wiggle room that can happen within there for endless possibilities.
And it's not to say that they're all going to stay together, but it seems very likely that like those three,
which would be great TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic TV. Sucks for them. But yeah.
Now, see,
if it's going to implode on anyone, it'd probably be Taylor, because she has the most connections. So she may get pegged as being the person who has the most connections. So she's got to go if it comes out.
2 first places, like she's
right. And that usually is enough for people to say, "Hey, you've had your chance.
You've had your time."
Yeah.
Now, see, I've definitely seen Blaker around, but I don't think I've ever like deep dive watch any of his games, so this is going to be a very refreshing experience for me. The only thing I have to go off of is the recent Unplugged season, and in that Unplugged season, Blaker's like there were like whispers of like, ooh, the season 4 people are here, and Blaker's name came up at many a tribal, but they could never like get him out, even to the point where Blaker was in the clear minority of some of those decisions, but still there just wasn't enough for people to gang up and say, let's take out Blaker. I agree. I get the same vibes as Brandon, where like when I first saw him, I was like, ooh, he's going to be a bit of a villain. But I think he's villain in terms of not strategy. I read him more as like villainous in terms of like, he was like ride or die with the people he was with in Unplugged. Like come low, come high. He was like, these are my people. What do you want from me? You know?
So like in personality.
In a game like this, when you never know who you're going to need, you never know who you're going to trust, I think Blaker is willing to be one of those voices of like, no, these are my people. If we go to elimination, I have your back. And that's it, you know? And even just that small bit of like firm confidence from an ally when the tribes are switching, like when the teams are switching like every single round, could be something so valuable. So I think this format might be right up Blaker's alley as well. Because especially if all of the people that he could get clocked for have such bigger resumes to worry about, giving this one right here the wiggle room, that might be just what he needs to wiggle up to the top. So shout out Blaker.
Shout out Blaker.
Yeah, let's wiggle.
Blaker.
Oh my God. I do not care if he's from Kentucky. I would rather throw myself down a hill than drink a cup of wine that a fruit fly had been in. That's still so crazy to be Blaker. Ew.
Not that bad.
I would do it if I was in that house and that was the only alcohol there was, bitch.
See, that's how you know he's a Survivor player, because that's probably not even close to the worst thing that he's ever done to like survive. But oh my god, the fact that we have an alliance out of that is crazy.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. He has that like funny factor, and I think that'll help him. Yeah.
I'm a pick. Okay, so I'll go next. So I have so many options here. I would. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the biggest villain, Josh.
Oh, let's go.
From live season 3.
Take him away.
I want him on my team so badly.
Is he still backstage?
Probably.
I don't know where he is, but probably is.
So Josh.
So like I picked Josh because this man comes off super unassuming. He's the accountant. He's the little guy. He's the super like chill guy, lackadaisical, like, and then you see in the freaking confessionals, the data suggests I have to vote off my strongest ally. Like, Ollie, I'm gonna bury you. Get that invisible knife. Like,
stab you the back.
And then you see in the first episode, people are just like, I want to work with Josh, and now he's the first captain. I'm like, bro, this guy, I think he's gonna go really far again and again. So I like him. I'm hopeful for him.
I think Josh is Josh was my bedmate for the entire time that I was in.
Ooh.
We were the speakeasy pals, and it was just us for the first like 2 nights ourselves, and then Marcelo ended up coming and staying with us. But you know, he's really good at like he can gather a lot of information, and he'll give little bits of that information to people. But he's the only one who has a full picture. So it's like he put the puzzle together, and he's like taking little pieces and like giving you a corner and you a corner, right? And saying, making you feel like you know what's going on. And then he's like flipping it on its head, because he also knows the power of being a villain can sometimes be getting you a couple more extra votes just by being the biggest villain, because then people are like, well, let's get somebody else out. We know we're going to get votes on Josh later. And sometimes that can get you just a nudge ahead, where then he finds some crazy idol and he takes it out of his you-know-where spot, and he gets CJ to hand him an idol. You know what I'm saying? Like he can talk. He knows how to beg. He knows how to get into people's graces. Now, my question is, because he's saying he wants to come in and not do the villainous game, I don't know how many people are going to trust that based on watching his game, and I think he's better on playing the villain. Just be who you are, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you try and play the nice guy, you might get hurt this time. Yeah. Because people are expecting you to be the bad guy. You can't be the nice guy after being a douchebag for your whole life.
I think he's gonna come and try to be the nice guy, and I can hear it in his confessional now. He's gonna be like, I'm tired of being nice. Let's go back to villain Josh. Like, it's got me much further.
Yes,
There is so much I want to say about Mr. Robot over here. I have played multiple orgs with him. I love him to death. I've known him for a couple years. We've been friends, all that stuff. I met up with him in New York City. It was really nice. This man will do literally anything it takes to win, and I mean fucking anything. So when I saw his confessional, like, I'm gonna be here. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. That's gonna last like a night, and then you're gonna be back to where you're at.
He's gonna get bored.
He is probably one of the most brutal game players I have probably ever met, just for sheer force of will to do anything and everything. And the thing is, this cast knows that. There's even the newbies. There's a couple newbies who are super fans of this show. They saw season 3. They know what the fuck Josh is up to. I would not, if I was a newbie going in, I would not fucking trust him with or get near him with a 10-foot pole. And that's already a major disadvantage towards him in general. I really hope that he does well for drama's sake, but I don't see it.
Now, here's my thing. I think a lot of people from season 3 see Josh as being the number one villain, but when we're talking about the dynamic between the season 3 people, Adam, Josh, and Billy, I think Adam has the most like hurry favor to vote one of the 3 people out first other than the others. And if that is the person, I think he's voting Billy out first. I don't think
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? He has that bad blood with Billy. It's not really bad blood with Josh. You know what I mean? Josh played a crazy game, but Adam wasn't really a part of that. Josh was good to Adam in those terms. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
So I host Big Brother Hogwarts Live. Apply season 3 apps out now. But he played last season, so I hosted.
Do you see my blanket? It's the Marauders map.
Oh yes! But anyway, there's like a couple things I can say about him is he knows how to work his charm, and he will work it with men or women. He doesn't give a fuck. As long as on the charms for everyone. And he knows who to talk to. And going off what you said about like he'll give a corner here and a corner here, he's usually good at picking out those people to where they won't connect the dots. But he gave them out incorrectly in Hogwarts, like because they did connect the dots, and he went out right away. So I know people to like give the correct information to that he won't compare. He'll go far, but I don't know what these people crack as fuck.
I think
they'll see through it. I do.
Yeah. So I think it's very much a case of how long can Josh go without the villain side coming out? Because the second that villain side comes out, the entire cast is gonna go, we're not dealing with shit again. Get the fuck out.
It's not if, it's when, right?
It's when. It's when at this point.
You know what? Goodness. You know what? I'm very partial to Team Josh, of course. My claim to fame now is that, as the hero of season 2, I gave Josh the link to apply to season 3. So, and that's my baby, and I'm very proud. That being said, Josh loves to go into a game and is like, oh, hey, I'm an accountant. I watch Survivor. But I think similar to kind of Eric is like just underneath that thin layer of like just this meek, mild-mannered accountant. I agree with Brandon. Josh is a very hard worker, especially when it's his own interests on the line.
Mm-hmm.
And, on top of, to go with what Kira said too, out of everyone of season 3, Adam might be the single person Josh never wrote the name down of, and Billy actually did vote for Adam. So the fact that Adam's already coming in and is like, Josh is my boy. Sorry, that's not, Adam doesn't sound like that.
He's never do that again.
But with Josh too, if anyone knows the highest highs of like winning immunity when he needs it the most, pulling off a blindside, to the lowest lows of like, I need this idol from CJ or I am leaving, like all of my allies are leaving behind me. Like Josh knows how to handle the extremities. And I'm sure Josh is thinking coming into this season, like, I have to be like 10 out of 10 at like all of it, like off the jump, because if I slip at all, these people are going to be coming after me. And the fact that he got first captain, obviously he is already doing something right. In my mind, Josh is kind of like, there's so many red flags that it could be like, no, let's keep him around. But like those red flags are there for a reason. So I'm very excited to see how far he makes it, as probably, he'll tell you, the biggest villain of Ascendance Live. If that's how he views himself, I'm very excited to see how he'll navigate this whole game. So I'm excited. And Team Josh.
Love to see it. Love Josh, my boy.
Hopefully no invisible knives.
Any visible. Anyways, Shodley, I believe you have 2.
Billy, you get 2 picks.
These are my last 2 picks. And okay.
Well, there's one more after this, because it's 4 for each. So you lost 2 picks. Never mind.
Yeah, technically. So I have someone in my mind that I do want for my team. However, I'm using the reddit.com spoilers to say I think I might get them anyways, even if I don't pick them. So I'm gonna put you on the back. Darn, there's so many good people. Okay. Yes. Okay. I see.
Say the name.
There's so many. Okay.
Just say 2 names.
Okay. This is hard.
Totally.
Okay. Okay. Well, also, like, it's so hard because there are people on this graphic that shouldn't be on there anymore, and it's distracting me.
I was literally just thinking that same thing.
Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, you guys are annoying. Okay, there we
Do
go.
your
Bye,
job,
dog.
Ali. Come on.
Girl, remove Taisha too, the fuck.
Taisha.
Fuck, Taisha. There we go.
Okay. No, I'm gonna go.
I apologize.
Are you sure I can't have 7 people? Okay.
You can have the rest of the people.
Yes, please. Okay.
We have 11 people. I believe. Yes, 11.
Okay, I think. Okay. I will say, coming into this season, all the way up to even watching the first episode, no joke, this person, I was like, oh, that's so cute. You are a creative individual for thinking Ascendance season 4 is for you. But I think literally the dramatic turnaround when I watched this person in the episode, watched how much they were pushing themselves socially, watched like how invested they were in their own partner, on top of the wealth of experience that I know this person has over years of playing games, / like I just felt the determination from this person to do well. And I cannot believe these words are coming out of my mouth. I never thought it until I watched it all come together the first episode.
Say it.
But I have to speak my truth. I am signing myself on for the Michael Davis train. I'm going to pick Michael. I think literally if you told me at the beginning of the first episode that Michael was going to be socializing the girls, I'm like, because you know what? Michael has been a host for so long that, you know, Michael is one of those other people that comes across mild-mannered and, you know, not shy by any means, but, you know, Michael's not one to raise his voice, right? However, coming into this game, having a strategic partner like Eric, having the season 1 connections, having hosted some of these people from time to time, like Josh was the very first winner of Surviving. Like, Michael is someone that I think has seen game from all sorts of angles, and theoretically, Michael is someone who is so prepared for Ascendance. Like, he's played the org, he's played the live game before, he's done all of these things to prepare. And I think something in my gut after watching that first episode was like, you know what? Michael Davis is here to work hard. You know, I've never had such a big turnaround on someone. And you know what? I'm placing my trust in that gut feeling. I think Michael is the perfect combination of wants it real bad, has a great partner that can offset his strengths and weaknesses, and someone that's like, someone that has, I see like a way for them to actually get there and win. So I'm going to pick Michael. And I truly, no matter what, I'm excited to see how this turns out for him. I know he loves Ascendance so much. So I'm going to go with Michael. I'll go with Michael.
I played
better.
Michael. Yeah, that was exciting. He went out so unfairly. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, like Michael Davis as a term originated from that man. How funny would it be if that same shit happens this season?
Wouldn't be funny for him.
He literally was like, it would be such a shame if I went out because I didn't get a chance. And we all were like, oh no, it's fine. And we all looked at each other. We were all like, we're all working with each other. Like, we have to vote him. Like, what else are we gonna do?
Yeah. I have another thing to add, and Kira probably could add more onto this, but I remember watching the, I guess, 0.5 Unplugged, watching Michael alone in that. I was like, oh, you know, Michael, you know, you know, who knows what he'll do. But watching him be like the comp beast, like the advantage finder, have people like go to bat for him. I've never played like against Michael, but I think Michael is just someone that I've progressively watched like get better and better the more that he's on the player side of things. And I think he's going to take serious as a heart attack. So I feel it for Michael. I do.
I would say I've known Michael for a long time. 1984, which is the series that he hosts, was my gateway into your community way back in 2018. God, I've been here way too long. But it's like him and I have become a lot closer over the past year, which I really appreciate. I know how much Ascendance does mean to him, and I know like he was the first person introduced of Eric, and I know how excited he has been to get this second chance after things ended so brutally for him his first season. He has hosted a lot. I don't think any of us can really deny that in the slightest, but what I've learned is that hosting and playing are two completely different things. I have not really seen Michael play that much, honestly. So for me, it's kind of very much a blank slate on what he will do here. I think picking Eric was an amazing choice with him because Eric is someone who is so strategically driven. I think it will help him make the social connections that ultimately I feel like kind of did screw him over in season 1. I'm very excited to see how he does. Something feels off. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what feels off. Just something about it feels off. I'm so happy to see him back.
I think that like from playing with him in the mini Ascendance, he pulled out of the hat just like these crazy comps at the end. So if you let him get deep enough, I think he has a lot of standing. The other thing is he's extremely freaking loyal. Like I remember talking to him and trying to like get him to do something with me, but he only wanted me to do excuse me, something with his side. He wasn't so much voicing that, but like I could, maybe it's on my side, like I could tell, like I was like, oh, I don't know if like I really can get him to vote my way instead of his way. But I think he's going to do really well if he can find a solid group. What I don't want from him, which like he kind of said a little bit in the first, he's like he was really excited to see Erica, but he was also very sad not to be on a team with Erica. So I just hope that he's not banking his relationships on people he's known and like know from being in the Ascendance community. And he's also like, I don't think he's the person to not give other people a chance, but I hope he doesn't put all his eggs in one basket, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree.
Isn't he's a little bit, he comes off to me a little bit like socially anxious. So I think that's probably why he pushes, like I feel like he feels comfortable enough with like his Ascendance connections, and I hope that he can kind of like push himself to branch out and meet those new players because it's really going to help him. So I hope that something pushes him to do that.
Yeah, he comes off as like a little bit of a slow burn. Like people he knows, it's easy for him to just be himself again because it's like starting from where they left off. But meeting someone new, it's maybe like a little not as like warm and inviting as maybe like someone like Chris is. Immediately you feel like you've been friends with them forever, you know, but he can build that. It's just like, does he have the time to build those connections, you know? Yeah,
I think if he can be safe for the first couple eliminations, he'll have
facts. Okay, cool.
Anyways,
man, that's tough.
Oh, Jolie with the next pick.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go again. Here we go again.
This guy.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I know. Okay. Here we come. Oh wow. Okay. Sorry. There's so many great people. I hate that. Like this is my last choice already. But
we've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. What have you done?
Sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna follow my gut. I think the other person I have my eye on, I may get anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick this person because I feel like they're gonna get snatched up, so I have to do it now.
Do it.
This person, to me, Ascendance is a hard game, right? It's even harder if you as a person have never picked it up before in your life. Learning all that stuff on the fly is something that's so difficult. It's darn near impossible, right? I am picking this person because
so much build up.
Sorry,
I'm happy to just say the name.
I'm picking this person because I feel like they are someone that socially check. I can see so many people on this cast falling in love with them. I feel like physically check, even though they may not strike as the most physical person on here. I feel like they have the background from what they said in their Meet Me videos of like they can pull it out if they need to. Strategically, I trust that this person could cut anyone and honestly, realistically, not care, and then have chicken and waffles with them the next day, right? And on top of which, even though some of the odds may be against their favor, I really do think that this person has all the tools, if they can master the format, to become the winner. So I'm gonna pick Stacey Brooke.
Fuck you.
I really think that she has all the tools necessary at her disposal.
I'm so mad.
To make such a deep run in this.
I mean this in the nicest way possible.
What went with the middle finger?
I have
one in her.
Two middle fingers. Oh no!
That's why I was between Grace and her.
I really think Stacey has all of the tools necessary to whip up in a blender like the perfect way to bake Ascendance and serve slices to share with everybody. I just feel like Stacey has everything that it takes. So I didn't know if I was going to get another chance to get her, so I had to. I'm going with Stacey.
God damn you!
Oh wow!
I also just she played it in BBH as well and won.
What?
Yeah, I just hosted her a couple months ago. She got to the end and won unanimously.
Wow.
Big Brother Hogwarts, she won unanimously. Josh was in that cast as well, so I don't know if he's going to
Josh or Blake?
Yeah, Josh D. Yeah, stud Josh.
How far did he make it?
A pre-jury.
Yeah, didn't you say he got taken out immediately?
He got not immediately, but he just could not. The people that cast was on crack. But I could see him running around being like, I just played a game with Stacey and she just won unanimously. Like,
oh my god!
She killed like 20 live games.
She fucking killed it. Like, spot on social game, knew exactly where everyone was doing, was loyal, made the moves when she needed to make the moves. I was between her and Grace, and I ended up going with Grace because I thought I'd be able to snag her as well, but like I didn't. So, but queen.
I was about to say, hasn't she like played like probably more live games I've ever heard anyone goddamn play?
23.
More than all these people combined, probably.
Every type, every form. Like she's done it and done it twice, you know.
Yeah. I played a Survivor game with her, and she ended up finding half an idol, and I found the other half, and we never got to link them together. But she's amazing. She's amazing.
So basically, what I'm getting is the woman has experience under her belt, like more than anyone.
Her very first confessional was that confessional of like, I don't like working with people that I know. I like to work with people that I don't know. Yep. And I think in something like this, if there are concerns about other people not necessarily branching out too far past what they already know because of all the connections, all the alumni, the fact that was her very first confessional and she's walking in with that mindset of like, talk to everybody. I think she has her mind kind of for the long game already. And a
lot of people are like, oh, I'm a vet and I like to play with people, like new people, and like they never do. And she truly does. Like she came into Hogwarts like knowing like 4 or 5 people, and she voted them up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I think like in her very first confessional, like you said, she was like, I think it was like Alex or Chris, one of them, and they know I've played before, and they know that like I don't like working with. I hope that doesn't bite her in the butt. I think to the new people, that's going to be a great resource. That's going to be someone you want to pull in because there are so many of these connections if people start finding those out. Yeah. But I hope
Chris knows that too, because Chris hosts the game with me, so he was there and saw all of that.
Right. So if Chris is the type of person to be like, oh yeah, she's not going to work with us, because she knows us or we're the group of people that know each other or have big connections. She's going to be against us, but she knows the game, so she'll be able to mentor, blah, blah, blah. Who knows how that's going to pull into play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very excited to see her play here. Like,
I am too. It seems like in her first confessionals, it's almost like they're teeing her up to be a first boot, because it sounds like she might not really like get the game, or a lot of it's very new to her. But that could just be like an editing ploy, because maybe she's going to do something really awesome. I think if she can start making some of those connections, like you say, like it sounds like she can. If she can just find those inroads, she'll do well.
I will say,
so mad. I really wanted her.
Okay, release your anger. If I can take your guys' hands while we're still here, I'm gonna psychically telepath the name of the person I want on my team, and I hope I made the right estimation, and I hope you'll leave them for me. So I'm just giving you all that message from my head. Be kind and good luck.
Well, let's see.
Oh no.
One thing about Stacey which I liked was that like she was like saying in an introduction that like this is an adult gap year. I've never heard that phrase in my entire life. I'm like, bro, I want an adult gap year. I don't want to be working. I just want to take a year of like bliss, you know, just do the things I love. So yeah, if I was there, I'd be like, I want to work with you.
Yeah,
but anyways, I'll go next, right? So we have people left. I won't take as long as Jodely, but like I think I'm gonna pick a new player. I'm gonna pick Jim.
Let's go, Jim.
Yes, Jim is like okay. He's the first captain. Hey yo, yeah. And like this man was like super like chill, calm, relaxed, like super. He was. I remember like in the carnival games, he was like asking people where they're from, getting to know them, like just like super like being really personable. So I think and no one knows him. I don't feel like no one really, and that's really good. So I expect him to make the final, like at least jury plus more.
Like I was gonna say, like no one knows them. I think they're completely new. They definitely watched the show before, absolutely, and they're already doing so well.
Matt's been in the scene before.
Yeah. It said in one of their confessionals, Matthew does Survivors, but Jim has never touched any of this ever.
I actually played with Matt in a season of Outlast. Shout out Outlast. This past summer, it is not yet shown, so we have no idea how the dynamic between Matt and I went. So I'm just going to opt to not comment.
Right. I mean, Outlast is tough, though. Wait,
it's a crazy season, and so that's the season where Taylor and Eli met, and then Eli was a medivac, but he kind of like quit. But like it was a very interesting season. You should go watch it. It's a great production.
Yeah.
Outlast, is that like an LRG?
Yeah, Outlast LRG, Massachusetts.
It's really good.
Fantastic.
Jim I feel like obviously was really bubbly and conversational in the house, like right away. I had no idea who he was. I wasn't like super invested in the pregame stuff until like right before the first episode dropped. And so like I had this random friend request from this guy named Jim, and like I'm messaging him, and I was like, who the fuck is Jim? I was like, what is happening? And then I was like, do I know you? Like, can I help you? And he was like, oh, I'm just like going through like the Ascendance alumni and like talking to them. I'm just like want to build like, you know, like Ascendance family bonds, whatever. I was like, oh, okay, like perfect. So he's like super like cool and chill. But I also think like sometimes in this, branching off from like the last Survivor game that I played, like there was like 3 or 4 married people that like their like significant other was at home, and it actually like really like was a struggle for them because like they hadn't been away from their partner. So like his partner's in the house. So like I feel like just that emotional bond, like being able to go into a room and just like decompress with like your significant other is such a huge advantage.
I think they know how to like go through that more than anybody else. You know what I mean? Like they know how to go through those tough conversations, or kind of just be able to like they're accustomed to being at a party together, I'm assuming, and being able to just give a look to each other and be like, yeah, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? So like they can make that nonverbal body language and know what each other's thinking, which is going to be like some of these people, some of these partners, this is their first time being partnered together, right? And some of them, like Billy and his mom, like, you know, they've known each other since, well, Billy's birth. So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jim and Matt, I remember I watched a little bit of the preseason stuff, and I remember in the preseason stuff leading up to it, I think they made a comment about how, like, oh, Matthew's like the socialite, and Jim's, you know, usually a little bit quieter, and that's why he's here. I'm here to bring him out of his shell. And I was like, oh, wonderful, cute, 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 cute. And then we got into the application of it, and the two, Jim and Matt, seemed very coordinated down to the point where I believe, like, Matthew was like sneaking out the back door looking for advantages, and Jim was on the inside being, let's play tic-tac-toe. And, you know, even the whole things of like, so Chris G, how do you like Pennsylvania? Eric.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. I thought Jim knows how to talk to people and hold his own in the social, you know, and kind of on the same term as Grace, where like, such a clean slate that doesn't know anything is going to be such a comforting aura for the other players, on top of which I'm already getting like, out of everyone in the cast, Jim is definitely the one that gives me like the most paternal, like fatherly vibes. And I feel like Jim is someone that is definitely someone to look out for. Jim helped win the first challenge despite not having any relationships with anyone on the cast at all before the season, you know? So if Jim is the more calm, level-headed one, I think in a game like Ascendance, where panic and paranoia is kind of what cranks the gears, Jim is absolutely someone to watch out for. I'm very excited to watch how he does. And I'm going to friend request him.
I totally just checked, and everything I just said was about Matt, not Jim.
You know what?
We'll get to it when we talk about Matt.
Friend request Jim. Friend request Jim.
Now we're gonna go friend request him. Hey, sorry.
Yeah, go friend request Jim. It's funny that you said that, because either today or yesterday, Jim's face popped up on my like people you may know, and I was like, new friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right after.
Now we're all gonna have to just message Jim. So Jim, you're gonna
Let's
get
do it all at once. Yeah.
I'm already his friend, bro.
I'll add to a group with all of us. Hey.
Yes, just talking about you. I thought your ears might be ringing. You know. Okay, is it my go?
Yes.
Oh,
Kira,
wow.
you're next.
I'm in between two people, and I really don't know what to choose.
It's tough.
I even like numbered everybody, and it's literally like my number 6 and number 7. So I don't know what to do. Okay, so here's how I'm going to choose between these two individuals. I am going to think of a number 1 through 10. I'm associating 1 to an odd and 1 to an even. If whoever wants to partake, if someone can tell me the number I'm thinking, you'll tell me whether I should go odd or even. Can we do that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I already have my number. You said 4. Who wants to shout another number? It's 1 through 10.
7.
6.
8. Oh wow, we're bad. 10.
1.
9.
1.
2.
4. Did someone say 4 already?
5.
Yeah, 5.
Okay, 5.
Okay, totally. Odd or even.
You know what? 7 is a heavenly number, so I'm gonna say you pick your number 7.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay, so it's gonna be Taylor.
Taylor.
Oh, no. She's so good.
She is. And so my my questioning, and after all this, once we are all picked, I'll tell you who my number 6 was, because they're also amazing. But Taylor, she has a numerous amount of connections in this game. I think she plays really good games. I think she's really good at. She's very social, but I've never met her in person. But she seems as like she's not like loud in your face. Maybe like a personality like Billy's might be, right? Like she's social, but she lets people talk. And when it comes to strategy, she's a listener rather than like the person maybe in the driver's seat, like telling everybody what to do. And I think I really like that gameplay. I don't know if that's actually how she plays, but at least like from what I see of her, she seems very laid back. She's not going to be like pushing anyone to do something. But if it comes to a situation, she has enough social capital to move the vote in a certain way, tactfully. And that's, I don't know, that's kind of my energy on her. She seems awesome. Very excited to see what happens with her game.
Why? Oh, go ahead.
She won Synergy, didn't she?
She won
Yeah,
Synergy,
her and
and she
Billy.
won, and she won. Yes,
Yeah,
and
she
she
did
won
win
another
Billy.
game.
And
Yeah.
she won her very first time Survivor Angelica.
Correct.
Angelica.
So her record's stellar so far.
And
Yeah,
she
and
was in Outlast, but she probably won that too.
And she made it
she was
to
in
finals of
Outlast.
Unplugged. She made it to the final tribal council on Unplugged.
I think she's a really strong player, and it'll hurt her if people can pick up on it and like get her out, because she's such a big threat in the community. But if she's received how she's received in other games because of her personality, from what it seems like, I think she has a really good way at driving her social capital.
Yeah, that Survivor game I was talking about earlier with Stacy, she also played that, and that's where I met her.
Oh, wow.
And we all knew that she had literally just won Angelica, and none of us cared because she was so like fun to be around. Like we're outside living with nothing, like, and she was just someone that we all wanted to be around. We're like, there's no way we can send her home because she's so comforting to all of us.
Right, she's there for that morale.
Yeah, and we literally just like all forgot that she had just won what we're just all playing right now. Like she just won one of these, and like none of us did anything about that.
Yeah, so no, I think there's going to be a lot of good things from Taylor. Very excited to see her play. Yeah, I mean, I've only ever heard good things. Never been able to play with her myself, but like you said, Angelica, Outlast, like anything I've heard her be in, she only good positive things. So this should be good for her.
Absolutely.
She reminds me of Taylor from last season.
Taylor
Really
Gaby.
Similar.
Okay, yeah.
It's
very
like
similar vibe.
super like calm, chill.
Hey,
super,
Taylors
like,
be Taylors, I guess, right?
Gosh,
Exactly.
It's the Taylor era.
goodness.
I feel like Taylors are always good at the game.
No, Taylors are just they always win. God damn it.
Or make the finals. And
you know what? I think out of everyone on the cast, if I like walked in around at the corner and saw Taylor, she would be the person I'd be like, well, walk right on back out. You know, the fact that she's playing, honestly, like, oh, sorry, a ghost attacked me. I would be starstruck to play with her, honestly, just because she's proven she can do social. She's proven she can do strategic. She's already in an alliance. Like, it's 3 hours into the first night, you know, she does it all. And truly for Ascendance, where there's so much that can throw you, so much that you can't prepare for, I'm sure Taylor, who has done these games, is no stranger to thinking on her feet and making something happen. So, and on top of which, a partner like Adam Michael Kennedy, I can easily see the two of them. Like, who's gonna outspeak the two of them? You know, like they're gonna be the hardest duo to say no to. You know,
they're like two different sides of the social spectrum. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
She is so cutthroat, like. And she like looked at my face, sitting at tribal council on the bench, like looked straight at my face and was like, "You're going home." She was like, "We're all playing our advantages. Like it's gonna come down to a tie, and I have a steal a vote, and we're playing it. You're going home by 1 vote." Right to my face. Yeah.
I mean, there's some tact with that, you know. Like,
yeah, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, I hope you win the whole game now. Like, that's iconic."
Yeah. You better win now, almost like, right?
Exactly. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible. So yeah, very excited to see her game. I think, like I said, I think her biggest attribute, it sounds like, even from like what you guys have said on her, is like her social capital really is going to carry her. But not only that, like even with the Synergy game, like if she can combine Synergy and her Survivor experience, so she can win challenges and also be social with people. Oh my gosh, like that is the epitome, right? So
right, like the perfect blend.
And like I think I mentioned this before, I think she has the most ties within this entire game, like the most connections.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot to throw out her name.
Yeah, or because of that, her name gets thrown out. So it's literally a double-edged sword.
Either way, you never know how these people are going to play.
Exactly. That's what makes the game great.
How about that?
Oh my god, is that my turn?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I just feel like there's one person I want to pick, but I am at a point here to where I would feel incorrect not to go with my season one. Like someone from season one has to be
That's
with
fair.
me.
Yes.
So I'm just like repping it. We were such good allies in season one, and I ended up stabbing her directly in the back, horribly. So
Erica?
yeah, so I'm gonna pick Erica.
She was my number 6.
Darn.
So I'm glad. Yeah, so I'm glad you picked her because she is fantastic. I have all good things to say about Erica.
There's not one bad thing to say about. She's like one of the most genuinely genuine people ever. Like she's so real. She's gonna tell you how it is. Like if she doesn't want to work with you, she's not gonna work with you. And she's fiercely loyal to the people that she wants to work with.
100%.
The one regret I have is lying to her right before she got voted out because I would have won the game. So just she didn't vote for me because I lied to her. So
yeah.
If I had just told her the truth, I probably would have won Ascendance 1. So hopefully she wins this time.
Man, I mean, I think that she I played also with her in the mini of Ascendance, so that was like my first experience with her. But then even outside of the game, like we would go out and hang out and whatever, and we went out to the bars. And she really is, like you said, she's just a genuine human being. And then when she's playing the game, she's really not playing a different person. She really is herself, and she's just genuine. She wants to be honest with everybody. And I think, like you said, Peyton, like that's what her values are in. So like if someone's not straight up with her, she can be cutthroat. I don't think she's an outright cutthroat person. That's not in her nature. But if you do her dirty or if you go back on her, oh my gosh, she's going to come down like a bucket of nails. Absolutely.
Because who's not going to listen to Erica when she has like a thing, and like everyone knows that Erica is Erica. Like if she's going after someone, it's because that person fucked up.
that person's got to go.
Yeah. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Is she the only returnee from season 1?
No,
Other
Michael.
No, wait, Michael.
Other than Michael. So it's 2 people from season 1, 2 people from season 2, 3 people from season 3.
Got it.
Yeah.
Been a bit. Okay. Honestly, from what I watch, I've never interacted with Erica before, but she already gives me really good vibes. I remember watching season 1. I loved Erica then. I honestly think, I feel like, okay, make it sound clear. I feel like Erica has like the least connections out of all the returnees, honestly. I'm not sure if that's a hot take or not, or
I don't think that's true.
Here's the hot slice of tea, sweet pea.
Okay, good.
I should have mentioned this with the other person as well. That like Erica played season 1, good, done, right? I believe for both season 2 and season 3, she was behind the camera.
Oh, was she?
Not season 3.
No, she was
there.
She was there. She was there.
Her sister hosts the game. Like this is the host sister. Like she knows these people.
And that's what I forgot to mention with Christopher Lanier too, who's been on Prod. Like if anyone knows what these people do, even if she doesn't necessarily she never necessarily played with them, if anyone knows what these returners do, it's gonna be the people who like offered them, bacon at 6 a.m. after they just blindsided Georgia. It's going to be the person who at 8 o'clock after the endurance challenge said, "Hello, my dear, come to the bedroom. It's this way." So even though she may not have the most personal friends, there's no doubt in my mind that Christopher and Erica knows, she knows Josh, she knows Aisha, she knows these people,
Is that menage a trois wine?
Can I just say, I hope somebody was watching me trying to pour the bottle of wine.
It was so funny. I get it. I totally get it.
I never got invited to a menage a trois. I'm having my own.
Never.
I was at the side. Are we the menage a trois?
So I didn't.
I've already gotten to hot mess stage. I'm trying to square it with that, but
menage a cinq. But yes, Erica, I will say season 1, it was kind of heartbreaking to watch Erica's game come to the end that it did, because I think I know she's one bigger brother hosted by Adam. Like she's been in and around for like a long time, even though she doesn't play as frequently as some of these other players might do. But the idea of an Erica in this game that's like unshakable, ready to take on this challenge, has a partner like Rachel McKenna, where if Erica ever starts getting in her head, she could just turn around and there's Rachel. Orbs, blonde, fun. Like it's such a perfect balance, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Erica, honestly, breaks my heart to see her on another team that's not mine, but I really think Erica could have all the skills to be like the winner. So I'm really excited to watch her.
I'm low-key shocked that she was still available.
I know, Peyton, I'm really happy you chose her. Like, she is a fantastic pick.
Mm-hmm.
I love my team so far.
I think it's just a case of there's so many good people on this cast. People in other seasons who have been drafted way earlier are kind of left.
I mean, there are a lot of really good people still on this draft.
Yeah.
I can't even
just because you're towards the like, I'm not even going to say the bottom, just the back half of our draft doesn't mean a thing.
No,
exactly.
We've seen an episode and I still don't know who's going home first.
I know.
Like
Literally.
it's like one season where I didn't even have like a clue, you know.
Watch one of our first picks go home first. That's
I cried.
Yeah.
It could happen. It could be any of the girls.
It would be so cursed.
It would listen. I mean, well, let's just kick it off to the next one, I guess.
Yeah, we'll just manifest that whoever Brandon picks next is the first to go.
Oh, Brandon,
it is my picks first, isn't it?
You get two.
So these are my last two picks, and then the rest is between you guys, and then Jodel's gonna be left with whatever they have. I'll make this short and sweet, which one of us will do. My first pick is going to be Aaron.
Okay.
Ooh.
I like Aaron.
I like Aaron.
I love Aaron.
Aaron is the robot's partner. If you don't know what I mean by the robot, it's Josh. It's Josh D. I'm surprised that two of the captains still haven't been picked yet. I'm gonna be completely honest in that. Like, I think Aaron has all the capabilities actually to go very far. I feel like the only thing hindering them is who they're paired up with. But I don't really think that's going to hinder them that much, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, from what I've seen of Aaron from the preseason stuff beforehand, and then this first round where she ended up being one of the captains as well, I think she can set herself up very well for a deep run if push comes to shove. I'm very curious to see what her dynamic is going to be. She's like a wild card to me, honestly.
I think Aaron's game is going to be extremely interesting because I think if we think that, Josh may not be long for the game because people may see him as a threat, she'll either fall on the good side or the bad side of that, of like someone wanting to vote Josh off but not being able to, so she goes, which I hope doesn't happen. But if she can get through that little bit and she can get through the rest, I think she has like the social ability to communicate with other people, and that she doesn't have to be stuck to Josh. And like Adam said in that Menage a Trois, like he hopes that he can talk to Aaron like secludedly and talk to her without it being between Josh or Billy, right?
Yeah.
And just be her, and I think that's going to be really important through all of these, combos. Like, are you as a person in a pair taking someone else's in a pair as a pair, or as the person individually? And I think that's going to be a crazy dynamic to this version of Ascendance, because we've all played the individual game, right?
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
I see Aaron as a player who will be in that position to where they're gonna get pulled into like 3 or 4 different places that like be used as an extra number. And I hope Aaron picks the right people to go with.
Yeah, like you see her as a swing vote person. Yeah, she's gonna play the middle. If she can play the middle and she can play it correctly, like to your point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I was about to say, keep in mind, with the duos being such a big part this season, there has to be a reason why Josh, the villain of all villains, picked Aaron as their partner.
So
was it picked or was it? I think it was a mystery.
I think that was a random one, wasn't it?
No, it's not. Josh and Aaron.
No, there was only 2 randoms. I believe.
I have the backstory.
They know each other from Taisha.
Well, see, Josh and Aaron met each other long ago in an org that was based off of the show I Love Money. And Taisha
Sounds like
was
one that Josh would be in.
Yeah, Taisha was in that game. But long story short, Josh and Aaron instantly clicked. Josh got sent to the jury. Aaron beats Taisha in the final 2.
Wow.
And it was like her first org. And since then, Josh and Aaron have played a couple of orgs together, and they're always thick as thieves. Like they've played Survivors together. 90% of the time, Josh gets eliminated in front of Aaron because everyone's like, Josh is this huge super villain, like, ooh. And then Aaron's just in the back, like, hey, oh my God, Josh, it's kind of crazy. Mind you, Aaron did play the org, and she was one of the first people voted out of season 11, one of the newer seasons. But it was mainly because of like time differences, and she was busy. It was all of that. But
she played the real season. She played Ascendance already.
She played the org. Yeah. She played the same season as Taisha in that too, and that was like, oh my goodness. And now they're playing in this season. But Aaron is someone that's like so sugary sweet that it hurts, and even just in this first episode alone, when she was at the menage a trois with Adam Michael Kennedy and Billy Stevens, 2 of the biggest dogs in the yard, and was like, oh my God, like, I'm so nervous. Like, please, can you guys like tell me what to do? Oh my God. And here comes Adam. I'd never tell you what to do, but this is how you survive this vote. This is how you do that. And here comes Billy, who's like, oh, you remember Kate, and you don't want to tell people what to do. But at the same time, here are the challenges. Here's the alliance. And I was like, Aaron knows. Aaron just has this knack for like knowing what people want out of an ally. And I think Aaron is very much able to like adapt to like, oh, do you want like someone who is just, do you want to feel like you're leading someone? I got you. Do you want someone who's like even paced with you? Like when she was playing like pool with like the like Erica and Rachel, she got along with them really well. Aaron is a social butterfly is the best way to describe it. And I agree. As if the girls want to go for Josh and they get Josh out first, Aaron is such a different vibe from Josh that the complaints that they have about him, I doubt will apply to her. So
I agree.
I don't want to say I think Aaron's going to make it farther than my boy, but I'll just say that I think that they both have the tools to do so well.
And from what you've said, the track record's there 90% of the time.
Yeah. Right. He's being heard one.
Yeah.
Holds up one finger. But most of the time, Aaron's, people are like, Josh is crazy. Let's get rid of Josh. And honestly, too, like, hearts to Josh. But I feel like for the captain's vote, they voted for Aaron. Not
I think they voted for Josh.
Really?
Well,
no.
That means that they just both work together well in separate compartments.
Exactly. I think they're like, when you look at like a polarity spectrum, like one is a negative and one is a positive, like straight up.
Yeah.
And I think like in Ascendance terminology, and I'm gonna go after my boy Marcelo for bringing the hierarchy analogies in. She's the chameleon. You know what I mean? Like, to your point, Jodie, like she can kind of be in any conversation, and she's really good at like reading the convo and just matching the energy. She knew that in talking in a menage a trois with 2 people from season 3 to talk about someone from season 3, i.e. Keaton, who was voted out because he was a returnee. So she's talking to these returnees about, no, tell me the game. I want to know everything you can tell me. I'm trying to pull in as much information as I can. Like that, like if she's thinking of it in the way that I think she is, high marks.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Cheers, Aaron.
Love her.
Slancha.
I think she's making top 7 at least, and she looks.
I could see that too.
Yeah, that's a cute picture.
One of my favorite cast photos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of really great cast photos. Like, let me tell you, they knew how to like position themselves. I did not know what I was doing. My eyes were closed for mine, so
It's like this, yeah.
I gave Papa like 5 different moves, and he said, "I'm going with the eyes closed."
Of course he would. Of course he would.
I still stand by it. It looks good. Thank you, Papa.
I think yours is like top.
Listen, I can't make a bad photo. It is. It's a
Yeah.
bad. It's a curse.
Exactly.
No. All right. Who's it now?
And then
it's my last pick.
Brandon,
Oh, you have a
almost
double.
done, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Oh God, this is so hard.
Right?
As much as I love 2 of these people, like on a very
Only
personal
2.
level. Only 2.
The rest of them can go.
I interacted with this person before during a cast assessment. Actually, I never met them beforehand. And I got to see their kind of mind work and the way they kind of look at games. And it very much intrigued me. And it, like, do you know when you talk to someone initially and you get the vibe, oh, you're good. Oh, you know what you're fucking doing. I got this vibe from this person just talking about, like, from an outside perspective of a game that they're just watching. And it was so intriguing that I'm very curious to see what they're going to do in this game. My final pick is Chris Yu.
Ooh.
Chris, listen, I think, like, Chris said one little thing in one of his confessionals where it was like something about Josh, I think, was brought up, like, and he kind of wanted to play with Josh or play a Joshy game. I was like, whoa, that's taken me for a blind side, because if I'm in a house with Chris Yu,
there we go.
I'm thinking he's going to be, I'm not saying like not a game player, but like he seems like a very social person, a very nice person, honest. Like he's a ride or die type of guy. I wouldn't have pegged him immediately as being a villain. So the fact that he's excited towards playing a villain side, I'm very excited to see what Chris is all about.
Absolutely. Like, and like, as much as I love these people that are left personally, I couldn't justify picking them at all.
I hear you. I think Chris is a great pick, a fantastic pick.
And I know I saved him until last. I feel confident that Chris Yu can do a lot of damage if he has the room to do so.
Yeah.
And especially with Ascendance being such a social game, with the teams changing pretty much every single round, Chris Yu is someone who's very good socially. Chris Yu is someone who's very good observing and knowing where kind of people's mindsets are at, how people move, all that stuff. I feel as though that is his strength, and especially in a game like this, it's paramount success.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Chris, but I get the immediate vibe of like someone everyone's gonna want to root for.
Yeah.
But that's really all I get. Like, I don't know much. Like, I feel like I need a couple more episodes to really like decide how I feel, but that's how I'm kind of leaning right now. I don't know anything about Chris prior.
Yeah. All I know is like what was talked about in episode 1, and he has ties through Christopher because Christopher hosted him in a game. So I think Christopher is going to have given him enough information about the game dynamics. I don't know if he's ever he's obviously played a game with Christopher, but I don't know if it was I can't remember if it's org or live or what it was.
It was an org.
It was an org. So I don't know if this is his first live. Lives are very different from orgs, so I don't know how that's all going to pander in. But I think with the added knowledge of Chris and with their personalities being very different socially, but still very effective, I think Chris will do well. And if he wants to play that villain side, holy shit! Like I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Show me your hot takes.
Right.
Give me the TV. Give me the TV.
Let's go.
So many good TV personalities. I just so good. What are their best?
I think the
really
comical
great
relief. I love it. Comical relief is when this man was like, "Are we waiting for somebody out the game?" And he was like, "Let me vote off Jim and Matt because like they're threats down the line." I'm like, bro, this guy has a cast photo like this, like, and then he's like voting off like threats already in the first night, even though it was not even a vote to vote off.
See, I have to speak my truth. You know, I took a gamble and it was a long shot and it didn't work out. But out of everyone, Chris used my winner pick. Chris has never done a live game. He's never touched Ascendance. He's never done any of these things. But what I know Chris Yu from is, he's my fellow Canadian. Of course, he loves his style. But like from the Chris Yu experience, I've never played with him, but the Chris Yu experience, as to what I've observed it, is, it's very Marcelo-esque in the sense that, like, when you talk to him, he's all like, oh my God, bestie, yes. Oh my gosh, Fifth Harmony. Well, he's not a Fifth Harmony girl. I think he's a Rihanna girl. But every single game, Chris Yu, I feel like, is one of those people that he is not competing to win. He's competing to make you lose. It is very much the Chris Yu MO to be
I like that.
He loves
I like that a lot.
people. He loves voting you out. He loves making it further than you. Chris like gets his life essence out of like outplacing people. And it's crazy because this package is so like, oh, I'm from Canada. I'm from the East Coast. Oh my God, I can't reach the top shelf. That's so weird. And yet Chris Yu has like such a deadly love of competition and these games. He's never done an LRG, and honestly, the pairing with him and Christopher Lanier struck me by such a huge surprise because I think they are on opposite spectrums of like Chris wants the team to win, Chris Yu wants him to win, himself. But that being said, if Chris Yu can operate in Ascendance the way that he operates back home, I feel like so many of these people are gonna put him in the blatant like hero box. I think the villains are gonna be like, I'm a villain, I'm ready, I'll get you. And I think the more loyal players will pride themselves on that. I think Chrissy will be a very hard character to define for the rest of the cast. And I think he's gonna he's my winner pick. I think he's going to win. That is my best guess.
I'm getting the vibes that Chris Yu is a sleeper pick. Like he's your man who is playing both sides. He's your turncoat, but he's your best friend. Like I'm even more excited now hearing a little bit of his backstory from when I was watching him first episode. Like I was like, oh, he seems really cute. Like he seems something that I would like to meet. And then when he said the villainous stuff with Josh, I was like, oh, it's about to get different.
Yes.
And so now,
he loves being
what you're saying. I'm like he's not about losing. He's not about winning. He's about
you're not gonna win.
I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you. That's crazy. That is such like a new energy. I'm excited.
I feel like you don't see that in these games. Like people come because they have a hunger to win, not have a hunger to like vote people out. Like it's usually like, oh, I don't want to vote you out. It's so sad. But he's like, that's my favorite part, bitch.
I need to learn how Chris does that, and I need to put it in my own game now. What the hell?
I was about to say,
crazy.
If Chris gives that energy the entire season, then you better be careful. He might be coming for your Title of Canada's favorite house guest.
No, you know what? No. That's the thing. I feel like I'm Canada's favorite house guest. He is Canada's player of the season. That's how he loves the strategy. So I'm very excited, and I'm so Brandon. I'm open to alliances and deals.
We've been through this song and dance for a while, then.
Oh my God! Okay.
How exciting! Okay, very good pick, Chris. You awesome.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Peyton.
Come on, potato.
Peyton, final 4 picks.
I think I'm between 2, and I'm only gonna get 1. I think just for the gag of having a duo on my team, I'm gonna go with Billy.
Do it.
Let's go.
No.
Just because I'm not gonna get another pick. I was between him and Alex.
Okay.
But I think Billy. I think it's just a gag to have a mother-son in the game, and like I said earlier, like I feel like gonna give 20 times more than Suri and Jared gave on Big Brother.
Oh God.
But I've met Billy in person a couple of times. Never played with him before, but he just won Synergy with Taylor. So that's exciting. But I feel like
season 1.
Yeah, watching him last season he played?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It was last season.
Watching his confessionals and how like invested he was and like how invested he was in trying to win the battle back and everything. Like he really wants to play and he really knew what he was doing. He just couldn't get in front of the game. So like I'm hoping now that he has like a little bit of experience with Ascendance that he'll be able to like get in front of it more. And I also just wanted to have a duo on my team. So
yeah.
I think from like last season, out of most people coming into the jury house or pre-jury house, because he was technically pre-jury, him and I had like, if any of you have the Patreon and you see the Patreon, I think him and I have the most dramatic house entrances. You know, and I know from my own experience of knowing Billy, now in the game, Billy and I talked, you know, now and again to each other and we were close, but we didn't get as close as we did from like the jury house and whatnot. And I know I came in with a certain type of energy that he really helped me out with. Ali, you also helped me out. Even though I was like, Ali, shut up, I'm not in the mood.
I remember that so vividly.
Yeah, but Billy, let me tell you, he plays with his heart. He plays with his heart in his sleeve, and he puts everything he has into the games that he's played, and I cannot discount him for that. What the one worry I have for him is because he plays so much with his heart, I hope that he's not playing too much with his mom.
Yeah.
You know? Like it is his partner, and it is really important that he plays with her, but not for her. Right? And I don't know, because he's such like a loving person, I don't know that he'll be able to separate that. And that, I'm not saying that it could hurt him necessarily because he's trying to stick up for his mom, but I think that it will close his opportunities if he allows it.
I think that it's that kind of thing where she's never done anything like this before, and this is a huge part of his life overall, like just like orgs and allergies in general. And I feel like he would want her to have the best experience possible to help her understand why this is so important to him and like why he loves it so much. And if she has a sour experience, she's not going to really relate to like how awesome it's been for him.
Right.
Coming to terms with like who he is as a person and like helping him grow. Like I think that he would want her to like fully experience why it's so important to him. So I think it might cloud his judgment in the game.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because we all know from playing in these games that when you come out of a game, there is like a recovery period, right? There is like a toll that it takes on you. And mom, I'm assuming, has been there for that, right? Like I know after Ascendance, like Billy was still in the States for a bit. He was even living like, you know, near me in Connecticut, and me and him had Thanksgiving dinner together, which is awesome. But then you see his relationship with his parents. Like he was calling his parents almost every day that we were in the game. I know he was using some of that as like time to go searching for idols, but he was still calling his parents. Like they have such a close relationship, and I'm only assuming that his mom knows everything. And you know, from watching even his season and knowing his relationship with Josh, I wonder if with Grace, if she's going to take that into consideration when trying to build relationships, or she seems to me like a very like let live and let fly type of personality. But I don't like, if you burned my son, like I don't know that I can easily let that fly. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
I was going to say I am actually very close with Billy. Like he was in the first like actual org I ever played, Breaking Away from 10 Gauge. And during the pandemic, we became really close with one another. He hosted me Instinct. He's someone who I consider like an extremely good friend, and I honestly do love him to bits. And we've helped each other through a lot of mental shit that both of us have been through. And like I'm very happy to see him back. I'm so wishing for his success. At the same time, he is someone who is so obviously a big threat. And someone, and like especially we were talking even before with Adam, like and like his drama with Billy, like he played in the most recent season. Everyone knows what Billy is capable of. Everybody knows that Billy is like the big threat you take out. I'm so worried for him in this game, simply for the fact that I don't think this cast is going to let him get far.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit like back and forth on that, just because I feel like you're correct. He like wears his threat level on his sleeve, whereas Taylor knows that she's a threat and she masks it very well. So like, but he just like, he's the threat and he's there and he doesn't do anything to really hide that or go under the radar. He just stays out in the forefront and it's either gonna work or not.
Yeah.
I think like this is the conversation that me and him had several times when, you know, we were out of the game last season, is that because he does play with his heart on his sleeve, I don't think that's something that you can really take out of Billy. Billy is so passionate. And I think last year he tried to downplay it. And and so what I said to him, and I was like, listen, you are who you are. I don't think you can really, some people can hide it and some people can muffle it. I don't think you can. I think you just need to play who you are. So if you need to go into a game telling people that, hey, listen, I'm going to be the person that's a big threat. I'm a big guy. I'm a big physical threat. People are just going to look at me as such. Let me be your shield.
Right.
But I'm only your shield as long as you keep me around. So if he can play a little bit of that to his corner, I think that'll help him. It's hard to say how these challenges are really going to fare out in the long run because they are team challenges. I know in our season we had a lot of very physical endurance challenges in the forefront, and I know as soon as it was on his vote out, it was my team that won and his team that
hate
lost.
that challenge, the butt plugs.
No, it wasn't butt plug. Oh wait.
Oh.
It was.
No, there was. Which team? Oh, you're right. It was the butt plug challenge. Yeah. So after that was a crazy challenge. But that was the challenge right after the one where we were with the jugs running in circles and we're like, wow, Billy was really carrying y'all's team. And immediately walking back from the butt plugs challenge, it must have been then, was like, we have to vote out Billy. Billy is like a very large strategic threat, and that was the first thing said to my team that I was in. And then you know, I know me and him tried to work together, but he was telling me about an idol that he knew he had, and you know, that's nor here nor said nor done. But like, if he can take his strengths and use that as like a bargaining chip, hopefully that'll help him. I think that's still a really good pick.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of connections. He also has a lot of bad blood, but I think he has enough connections to hopefully fight the bad blood that he needs to kick out.
And there's a lot of fire and passion. That's all.
I've never had more fire.
More fire.
Listen, baby, Billy Stevens has been the Australian heartthrob for who knows how long, you know, but just underneath.
I just can't believe we don't have like an unbuttoned shirt yet.
I know he wore a shirt to the confessional room. I was honestly disappointed. I was honestly a little disappointed.
We got neckline. What the hell?
Boo! You know, his mom's there. He can't be looking crazy. You know, mama's there.
His mom is probably like, Billy, put that back on.
Put that on. But like just underneath, like just just to echo, like just underneath, like the big old brawly rugby player is like so much character and so much heart, and that has no choice but to rise to the surface in a game like this. You know, my hope is that because all of these returning players, win, lose, or draw, like all of their old tricks are out on the table. Out of everyone in this all 20, I don't think anyone wants this win more than Billy Stevens, you know? And I feel like if push comes to shove, I truly do feel like Billy is willing to fight to do anything in order to stay. And I feel like I don't know. I really do believe that Billy is going to work so hard in order to do anything that he can. And on top of that, even if it gets crazy and it starts getting emotional, Mama's in the back corner, you know? And that does, you know, he can go right over to her and she can center him. I truly feel it. So I have all the high hopes for Billy Stevens. And shout out, of course.
Yeah.
I think if Mom, Grace, and Billy can stay together for a couple rounds is really, like you said, is really. I don't think we'll ever see that same centeredness from Billy. You know, I don't know personally their relationship with each other, but the fact that they're playing this game together, and it seems how important it is for Billy to have his mom experience this. I think if they have the time to really curry this relationship together, it'll be something special, if nothing else.
Yeah. That's a pair that won't ever turn on each other. Some of the pairs, it's questionable, but like.
Which I hope isn't a threat, right? I hope that's not like a deciding factor in some people's vote. Like, hey, they're locked.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because then it'd be like a case of everyone's in a pair. You can say that same thing about basically everyone at one point or another.
Yeah.
Basically, Billy, love you. Please don't prove me wrong.
I can't say enough. This pair aspect in Ascendance blows my mind. And it's crazy because, like, from a personal experience, like me and CJ last year, we tried playing that both sides. No, I honestly, like, CJ and I both tried doing that before it, you know, it was part of the game, right? And obviously that didn't work in the way that we wanted it to. And, you know, things happen, the game happens. But it's a hard game to play when it depends on the person also, but like I felt like I was playing my game and CJ's game, and I don't want to speak for CJ, but he was playing the game that he thought he was supposed to play, whether it was for me, with me, or for himself, right? And so it's a very different dynamic coming into a game, and then if everybody's doing that, it's crazy. It's going to be very interesting.
Insane. Anyways, isn't it your turn?
It is. And I'm very torn. Here's my pick, and you know, I have a little bit to say, but not a whole lot. Alex, I think. Now, here's the funny thing. I'm worried for Alex, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm an underdog person, so I'm picking Alex because I feel like Alex is a big underdog right now. And even in like the way that I'm looking at this cast and how that first episode played, you know, we saw a lot of episodes with Alex giving confessionals. Sometimes that can tell you a little bit more of like, you know, Alex has a little bit more confessionals. Maybe it's because he doesn't last as long. I'm thinking that Alex, I don't think he's extremely social. I don't. I could be extremely wrong. But I think that he is calculated in who he is social with. And if he can do that and align himself with the right people, I think he'll do good. And, you know, when we see this like first matchup that's coming and the teams that are split up, I'm a little worried for the grouping that he's in, but it all depends on if he actually loses and if it's like a 2 teams lose and 1 person goes, or if it's a 2 teams lose and 2 people go, 1 from each team. So it's it's very hard to kind of like peg it. I'm gonna say that Alex can hopefully pull through for my draft. But I really think he's gonna need to be able to curry his favor, and hopefully Chris can help him in that, because I really think that Chris is the more social player out of the 2.
Yeah.
I think that Chris will fight for him. I don't know him. I don't know their relationship, but I think he will try to fight for him if Alex is in that situation.
Yeah, I feel like me and Peyton would probably have more to discuss about Alex. Peyton, you want to go first?
Yeah, I hosted him in season 1 of my live game. He
won, right? You said?
He didn't win my game, no.
Oh.
He was first juror of my game.
First juror.
He was on the block like 5 times in a row, I think. I would say before he was finally evicted. He survived He survived the double elimination. He was the last Hufflepuff standing, I think.
He's so a Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Through and through. But he it's so weird. He knows what he needs to do, but he doesn't do it sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know that he's as good as pulling the trigger.
Yeah, he because he knows what he needs to do, but I don't think has the social capital to back up those things. Which is why I think having Chris as partner perfect for him. But and then flip around to the season of Mayhem he won some comps, pitted people against each other without even knowing he was doing so, and slid to the end and won.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's like everything in that game fell exactly in order, exactly how it needed to go for him. So there's a little bit of luck on his side for that. But just like he knew what he needed to do, and he didn't need social capital in that game. He needed comps. So
Right.
it's different. So if he can kind of figure out what he needs to do with Chris and some other loud people, I think he would have a pathway. But very good point of him getting a lot of confessionals very early, because I really don't know if they're trying to edit him in until he gets eliminated. But
I know.
Yeah.
Who knows really with his game. I did, like I said, I do think he got a lot of confessionals, so that makes me a little bit nervous for him. But that could just be a ploy, because maybe that's the expectation.
And Nicole knows how to freaking do that shit. She's like,
Nicole is very smart.
Yeah. Again, Alex is someone who I knew from 1984 Live. We played together, and like he's one of the people who I've still stayed in contact with after our season, because honestly, I love Alex. Like, I cannot stress how much I absolutely adore Alex as a person. I think he's like one of the sweetest people I've ever met. Like, he is so kind, like all of that stuff. From my experience playing with him, I can very much kind of echo what Peyton has said. He is someone who knows what he has to do, but many times doesn't really have the social capital, or really, if he's paired up with someone who's a bigger competition piece, he just really can't get it done. And he ends up like knowing what has to be done, but really not being able to take credit for anything, or being slid into the background of what needs to be done. He's very much someone who, whether he likes it or not, operates in the shadows, or operates in other people's shadows when it comes to the game. I'm very worried for him, because Ascendance is very much a social game. And especially with my experience kind of playing with him, as much as I love him to death, as much I know people will learn to love him, it's a matter of, can he make those connections quick enough to avoid being an early boot?
Yeah.
I will add though that he, like, when we were doing, because I hosted a jury roundtable for season 1 of my game, and every single person were like, Alex was correct and we should have listened to him. So people know that he knows what he's doing. He's got to put himself out there.
Yeah, and I think just his personality type is very introverted, which there's nothing wrong with that in live games in of itself. Like, I'm a bit of an introvert, as much as it's hard to believe sometimes. Like, there's nothing wrong with being introverted.
Yeah.
With Alex, he's so introverted that it's a detriment almost.
I think that, kind of how we were saying before, with so many large personalities, might be a benefit to be someone who can just fall into the background, right? So, we may be looking at it from the viewer's perspective of that, hey, it looks like everyone else is extremely social. Alex isn't extremely social in the same way. He might be in danger. But if he can kind of play that background, and people put themselves into their own spotlight without, obviously they don't mean to, but we all know they end up doing so and putting their foot in their own mouth, and that person goes home when we all think it should be somebody else. And I think Alex is that person that can kind of hopefully find the middle ground.
Exactly.
But I think the key for him is time, which is hard in these LRG games when you don't have a ton of time to talk to people in deliberations in between when the vote outs are. Typically, you get maybe 20 minutes tops in an Ascendance game. But if he has a night, usually the first night, you have a little bit of time. It sounds like maybe they're getting up in the morning and they're having their first challenge. I don't know how much time he's actually going to have to deliberate. So hopefully in this night portion of that first night, he's able to drive in some connections.
It's another person where he can be safe for the first 2 or 3 rounds.
Exactly.
Right. If he's got to go to the first 2 or 3 eliminations in a row. Probably not a good idea for him.
Yeah, I'm very worried that I think with the connections that he has with the 1984 Live people, he can kind of slide under. My fear is that his social game might catch up to him and he might end up being a compromise boot.
So, Brandon, did he play in the same season as you and Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So he does have that connection.
On top of, he also competed in Synergy, the same season as Billy, Josh, Taylor, Adam.
Oh, that's right.
Brother, right?
So he was there for that.
Yeah,
he
his
competed
brother.
with his twin brother Andrew. Yeah, and I will say, I think what I see is like the strongest point for Alex. On top of the 1984 stuff, watching him in Synergy, he worked really well with his brother. In 1984, from the last episode, he's a part of a pairing with another contestant named Mikey, where Mikey's like the out there social, like, woo, I have multicolored hair. And like Alex is the one that's like, okay, but let me hold it down strategically. You know, I think Alex is really good at, once he has his one person, he knows how to like work with that one person and spread out, even if it's not the biggest numbers. And I think Chris G is such a perfect pairing for him, because Chris G, all of the social, but just a little bit of the drama, a little bit of the attitude, you know. Alex, all of the strategy, may not be the loudest voice in the room. And, you know, they both have competed against each other before. They know how to work with one another.
I think it's one of the most complementary pairings we have here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. If Alex can navigate, turn the straw of those relationships into gold, make those new relationships, I think Alex is a very solid pick. I do.
I love him to death.
He made it pretty far in 1984, right? Like he's final 5 right now.
It's the final 5, and him and his pair are undetected.
I mean, that's awesome. That's a big feat.
That's insane. And I think he may like be a dark horse. He may go all the way to the.
We're live.
Like we're worried
streaming.
for him, but like, no. But yeah, I guess I'm next.
Right, you're next.
You know what? If I want to pick Matt, but like I don't want to pick people from the same duo, so I want to pick Eli.
Pick who your gut says.
Come here, Matt. But yes, Eli first.
Okay, Eli, I was honestly like kind of worried for him as well, but like looking at his like personality in general, he has a good team round this round, so I have high hopes for him. I know nothing about him, but like if he can like make like good connections with Grace, and Confessional always talk about Grace. If he he has a really good partner in Taisha, which I think will help him out. So like, I hope he finds a pendant next round with his advantage. So yeah, I have high hopes for him. I think final 12. Okay, he'll make it to the final 12.
Cute. You know what? My knowledge of Eli also stems from the one game he played before this, which is Outlast, where he was on his tribe. I believe he was in the Minority Alliance. However, he was like a physically strong performer. And then it came to a point where he was like, honestly, like, my leg, I gotta go. So everyone, for me, it's okay. And they said, you know what, Eli? Okay, we're gonna blindside your number one ally. And I was like, oh. And so they kept him in.
I love that.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
It was
He
wild.
wanted to go, and they kept someone else. They voted someone else out.
Who did they vote out?
They
voted out Ellie, who
it was this cute girl. She was like this cute little girl. But they were like, you know what? We're gonna keep
I knew that people on Outlast were cracked. I didn't know it was like that.
No, like I'll be real with you. Like the fact, like from being on Outlast this past season, which I won't talk too much about, but like knowing that game and the way that it's set up, like you do go through a lot. I think it's a huge benefit to him. It sounds like a lot of the toll on him was like they really give us no water, they give us no food. Like
What?
I was surviving on electrolytes. Like it was very, very
You didn't get
minimal.
water?
We get water and then we won well, I'm not even gonna say anything, but like you can get electrolytes. That's like it's not you get rice, you get electrolytes. Like it's extremely minimal. And you know, I understand that he probably went through a lot. I think from like a Survivor standpoint, Survivor is like the kind of game that I like to play. Like for me, watching his game, it was more of like a quitter's game. No shade to him. I get it. It's different. Hopefully this game is a lot better for his outcome in that he feels like he has a lot more energy to participate in challenges. And I think that hopefully that fares for him. If not, I don't know, man. I'm from knowing the Outlast game and his performance in the Outlast game, because obviously I watched that game before I played Outlast. I'm a little concerned for him. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has. I think he has the mental ability to make big moves, but I don't know if he has the longevity because I like it's not like Ascendance gives you a whole lot more, you know?
Yeah.
Like they don't give you a ton of food and
to be
they
honest,
give you the water that you need, but like
when I played Survivor, I to be honest, like I had more energy than I did in the Ascendance house, and that's
Really?
There was a lot more time in Ascendance versus a Survivor game. Is you're in a house. It's not like the campfire outside is like, oh, it's like 8. It must be like really late, but it's only 7 or 8, and you're going to sleep. Whereas like we were up, and we only had like maybe 2-3 hours of sleep each night.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
And that takes a huge toll on the body.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was prepared for months before Survivor to go and not eat anything, to go and sleep on the ground. I was going into Ascendance like I'm going to be in a house. This is like more Big Brother. I wasn't prepared to like stay up. We were able to have alcohol season 1. We were all drunk every night. We all got to sleep.
Gosh.
Like it was like we were doing these challenges the morning after, like hungover, 1 hour of sleep. We didn't know what the fuck we were doing. I didn't know where the fuck anything was happening. None of us knew what a was. Like we all were like newbies and guinea pigs. Like I had more energy playing Survivor.
Yeah, it's very different. I don't even think it's fair to compare the two. It's only like the differences that we know of, like you're saying, right? Like there are definitely two differences, but like I don't know how much one is better than the other, to be completely honest with you.
Exactly.
They're both stressful as F though.
Right.
Yeah.
Any live game I've ever played, stressful as fuck.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Incredibly.
And I guess that means totally you're left with
one last thing about Eli too. One last thing about Eli is that even in the short time my only experience with Outlast was just watching, because I love watching all the live games I could get my hands on, right? The fact that he had an alliance that was willing to stick together even with the ship going down. I think there must be something with Eli that his allies see that are like, this is someone worth fighting for. / having a secret roommate in the competition, I think will definitely help him. I think if the elements weren't for him, I see myself as someone that would probably say, I'm going to go do Survivor. I walk out to the grass for 10 minutes and I'm like, honestly, I'm done. I see that for me very much. So hopefully internet and food, even if it's limited, will help him. Also, Taisha is a magnetic person that can work with anyone. So I think even if Eli is more green in terms of experience. I think Taisha will be able to match, enhance, and enlarge. So shout out Eli. You look cute in orange. And he has a great Instagram. Shout out Eli.
Yes. and with the ties that he has with Taylor because of them being roommates.
That could be huge.
I think that's going to be huge. Like we just talked about, like Taylor has one of, if not the most connections in the game. And for him to be connected to her in some way, shape, or form, and then to tie with the connections that she has, he might be in a really good position.
He might be in a better position than Taylor.
He really might be. You're absolutely correct.
The fact that it got brought up so early, I wonder if they're going to be able to keep it a secret. Because I think when people live around each other, eat
it comes off subliminally, whether you want it or not.
Nicknames, inside jokes. We'll see if anyone picks up on their relationship. We'll see.
Yeah.
Right.
How interesting.
And Matthew Sheed, established and verified Facebook friend of Peyton.
He's going to be so mad he was picked last.
I'm kind of surprised he's last.
I'm actually genuinely shocked that I'm lucky enough to have Matthew on my team. Twist my arm. But Matthew, listen, for someone who I think it's a huge advantage for him to have, I think, multiple survivors underneath his belt and to come in and have genuinely a fresh slate with all of these people. I think I forgot what Matthew says that he does, but I think even his
actor.
He's an actor?
Yeah.
I remember thinking even his occupation is a social one, and by golly, someone who will be able to be in different scenarios and act one way, even if that's not how the heart is feeling. The fact that Matthew's already got his mind on advantages as well and is actively searching, despite how many elements Ascendance throws at you, I dare say Matthew is someone who's ready to take them all on and not be overwhelmed. Yeah. And again, picking someone who is a part of your actual family to come and do this with. On the one hand, it could get crazy if someone targets your family and then you're like, who wants to vote for my sister? That's probably what I would be doing. But him and Jim already seem to have such a choreographed way of splitting and dividing and conquering all aspects of it in general. Mind you, the fact that they were seen by other players kind of sort of curse you about being the biggest threats, that could be one thing. But with Matthew, the social one, the actor, the advantage worker, Matthew is someone I think is ready to brawl for Ascendance, and I'm very excited to have him on Team Jim.
Can we say daddies of Ascendance?
Husbands.
Men are.
Hashtag husbands.
I feel like he gives off the vibe of being able to be that sweet, nice Ascendance dad, all of that stuff wrapped up into that. But I can see him be as soon as someone crosses him, he's going to be the one calling the house meetings. He's going to be standing up, calling people out in elimination. He's going to be direct, and I'm going to be here for it. I'm ready for it. And just echo everything I said about Jim, because that was supposed to all be about that.
He did have that confessional too of, you know what? I didn't know anyone coming into this game, but I won this challenge, and that's just step one on winning Ascendance. And I was like, oh, so I'm ready for him to be competitive. I'm ready for him to win. Let's do it.
My only worry is that I'm worried. Some people if you start very good out the gate, and you don't let up, you start playing way too hard, way too fast. I'm afraid he's going to be in that, especially with, winning and not really knowing anybody. And like you said, Chris, you already mentioned him as big threats. I'm afraid he's not going to take his foot off the pedal and he's just going to end up crashing. That's my biggest fear.
I feel like Matt has a lot of social capital. I think that with the first captains, at least I know in my season, when I viewed choosing who was going to be captain or not, I wanted to choose people that to me seemed like targets, because typically you put those people in the first captain spots their targets just because of picking the people that they picked.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And what ended up happening, not the next, but 2 or 3 episodes down the road, we had a double where it was Emily and Madison who were the 2 first team captains, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily saying that that is what put them there, but they definitely were in the spotlight. I think that had a dealing to do with it. So I think that may possibly come into factor, whether that affects Matt or Jim or Josh or Aaron, we don't know. But that is something that I do think is up on the table.
For sure.
And it's kind of interesting seeing the people that Matt has gravitated to so far from what we've seen of like Josh, Aaron, Chris G, Eric. What an across the board collection of people. You know,
if those people can all work together, for one, the viewers are in for a treat, and for two, the house is fucked.
Yeah, I think Matt can work with anyone. You know, what's not to love?
Very eclectic.
Eclectic. What does that mean?
Like
unique,
very different personality can kind of mesh into anything.
I love it. I think Matt will get like 4th place.
You know what, Ollie? Who do you think's gonna win?
Yeah, let's go through winner picks. Who's everyone's winner pick?
Yeah, because you said 4th, 12th, 8th. Let's talk about first.
Number 1 out of your picks or number 1 out of overall?
One out of the whole board.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Are we starting from like?
We'll start. Well, Jodie already said.
Yeah, I guess I'm still in the order. Well, I already spoiled that Chris Yu is my winner pick, so I think I'll go with the person I think maybe I think could also get first. Sorry, I won't take up your night. Chris Yu, my heart, if you just ask me who I think is someone else I think could ultimately win. Stacy Brooke. I think I got very lucky to get Miss Stacy. I'm gonna say Stacy.
Okay.
I'm
gonna say someone. I'm gonna say Adam. Watch him be first boot of last season and winner of this season.
Could you imagine?
He should be. He was number 2 in the Ascendance 3.
That's true. Yeah.
Messy Mini.
Shout out.
The only reason I got first was because I was drinking a shit ton of Fireball. Which, if you didn't know, for those season 4 homies, if you want to win the Ascendance Messy Mini, you must drink a shit ton of Fireball.
Not that he's here, but Eric Broden could also attest to that.
I know. He drank a shit ton of Fireball, and then I drank a shit ton of Fireball. And yeah.
Shout out Fireball.
Fireball. This is a commercial. My number 1 pick. Whoa. It is such a fucking stacked cast. I think. And I think that I have to go with my number 1 pick in my own team and say Christopher. I'm going to stand by Christopher. I really think I got to know Christopher a little bit in Nashville, and when we hung out after the season, and I really think that Christopher has this aura to him that we were kind of talking about earlier. And I really think that me as a person, if I were in a game, I would really connect to. And every person that's in this game really is all dependent. But if you're going off of vibes and who you feel like just off of impressions you can jive with, Christopher is going to be that like top 1 or top 2 person for across the board, in my opinion. I think Christopher is just a very like outgoing, loving personality that anyone can see themselves jiving with.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that Christopher is going to do very well in the game if they can monitor their threat level socially, and then depending on how they can do in the competitions, we'll see how that all fares. We'll see how that is. And I think that their cohort in being Chris Yu is an extremely good pick based on what I knew about Chris Yu coming into this draft and now what I know about Chris Yu coming out of this draft.
Yeah. I think the winner's on my team. And for some reason, don't even know them. But I truly just, for some reason, Grace just gives me the winner. Like, I don't know why. But for some reason, every time I'm looking at this board, I just, like, my eyes keep going to her. And, like, first, I don't know why. So I'm just going with my gut. And
I think you're valid.
I think it'd be a slay ass winner. And I think that it would be so funny for Billy to be so passionate about wanting to have his mom come in and win.
Yep. You imagine.
You know, it would be amazing if it's a Grace 1 and Billy 2. Like, you know how amazing that tribal council will be? Like,
that was funny. And I would just be like this, just listening to their answers. Like, yes, talk.
Yes.
Well, I think the winner is on my team. Thank you very much.
Well.
I'm honestly gonna stick to my guns. I think Taisha is gonna take it.
Sister T.
Taisha.
I think Taisha got so goddamn close last time, and out of all the returnees, I think she's the most likely to make it all that way again.
I cannot say enough good things about Taisha. I mean, Ali and I played in 1984 with Taisha. Literally. And I was playing with Taisha from we were in the first tribe together to the second tribe together to merge to the end, right? And I think that Taisha is a fantastic player. I think that she has this energy about her that's really well perceived in Ascendance of all things because she is so socially inept.
I don't understand how she can play the same way in every single game and get so far every single time.
She's just herself. Like, that is the impressive part about it. Like, she is genuinely, ultimately Taisha.
It's never a show. She just goes in and she's herself and she's like, it's going to work or it's not going to work, and it works every single time.
And you know her confessionals are going to give. Like, she is just top-notch TV, top-notch Alliance, top. If Taisha is ever in your game, PSA to anyone that ever plays with Taisha, you want her on your side.
Absolutely. Exactly. If you start off on the opposite side of Taisha, you're done.
I played one game with Taisha, and she was like one of the bright spots in that game. Like, I grew so close to her in that game. Like, I loved her to death. I am a Taisha apologist. If there is one Taisha fan, it is me. If there is no Taisha fans, I am dead. I have to stick by Taisha.
Yeah, no, I highly stand by Ty. She was one of my top picks. I'm so happy you got her, Brandon. Like, literally top notch.
Oh, I think we should just end by I don't know what we should end by.
Apply to Big Brother Hogwarts. Apply to Ascendance Live. Apply to Survive Live.
Apply to Survive Live.
Apply to all live games.
What do you have to plug, Brandon?
Well, I mean, the only one I did was 1984 Live, so.
Apply. Ollie, anything to plug?
I haven't played any live game. But
anyone who's casting live games, get Ollie on there.
Let's close out with like what we think the dynamic of these duos are going. Like, what do we think this new twist on Ascendance is going to be? Like, how do we think duos is going to interface with the game? We'll start from the same.
Gosh, I just know that, like, for me, whenever I play in a game, like, I don't know, it's one thing to just go like all in on a bet when you know it's your money, you know? I've never had to play alongside someone, let alone someone of my choosing, you know? And that in and of itself, like, I have to hype myself up so much mentally to be able to like take on a challenge and put myself out there. The idea of picking someone that's so close to me to come into the game with, it seems like such a small change, but it's such a re-rack, you know? I really think it'll bring out different sides of all these players that no matter how good or bad we know them, it really could bring out a different side of them. Will it be a more sensitive side? Some of these people might pop off if they hear their partner's name.
Come on. 1 second.
It's going to be, no worries. It's going to be very interesting to see some of these people play and with someone on their side, you know? Even with this first vote, no one's going to allow their partner to be the first one off, you know?
Because that's just going to open the door for you to be the second person gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, you don't even have a duo, so like you don't even have numbers, so why would you?
Yeah,
that's true. Because people assume partners are together when voting?
Right.
We saw that that's not necessarily true in voting for captains.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. Yeah.
Ollie, what's your take?
I hope that they do a hierarchy again this season. Just they take on that, and I hope they do team tag, and I hope they do butt plug challenge again. Anyways, I do think that I do think that each person in this game is their own individual player. I think so. I don't think there's a twist of like if your duo is out, you're out as well. I think that's a little bit too. It's not. I feel unfair in the game.
I don't think they're doing that.
Yeah. So I think I was an individual player, but like I think the emotions will be high this season because it's like you'll see people voting each other their duos off. I think you'll see people like getting really emotional, having to like let one of their duos go. So I feel like we're gonna see people cry a lot.
Oh, for sure.
But like,
yeah,
it's gonna be really emotional and like.
You can already see when one of the husbands or one of the moms or sons gets voted off. So that's gonna be probably the emotion.
That's gonna be crazy app.
I just hope they're friends after this and can hug it out.
Or not.
They can become stronger pairs after this experience is over.
You know, with duos being in this game, I think that it's a benefit for some, a detriment for others. Yeah. And I think that that's going to really outplay in the game itself. I think in like the cases of like quote unquote the fruit flies, it's beneficial because I think that hopefully they're all going to stay together from what I'm seeing. But I think in the cases of some people who are related, it, like you said, it may be too impactful. Like, for example, if Billy's mom, Grace, leaves before Billy, I think that's going to have a huge toll on Billy and how he decides his next vote. Whereas with Grace, if it was vice versa and Billy goes up before her, I think Grace is going to be more calculated, you know, and through that dynamic of Jim and Matt, I don't know how that dynamic will work. I don't know how it'll work for others. I don't know how it's going to work if Taylor not being in an actual duo with Eli, if that will affect her vote, even though they're not partners, but they're roommates. Like, that's a big thing. How will that affect? I think there are so many woven ties, not even just with partners, but with how people know each other, even with seasons of Ascendance or elsewhere. All these connections are going to make a huge impact of the game, in my personal opinion, and I'm excited to see how it all lays out.
I think there has to be something, whether it be subtle or not, something has to be directly related to two people being paired together. Like, they're already separated. So I'm thinking, like, if one person gets eliminated, maybe they get to like will their duo something or help their duo in a way or something. Like, there has to be something that has to relate them together if they're going to be separated already. So I'm hoping something like
you get eliminated, you get to like will power, or like your partner gets something, or you get to control a vote or something like that.
Great point. Do we think there's some form of a boomerang like there was in season 3 in this season, where like if your partner is still in the game, do you get some advantage going into some type of a boomerang challenge, or do you give are you able to give an advantage to someone who's still in the game? That's an extremely good point.
I think no matter what, with what's happening, a duo is going to be separated almost immediately with the first vote coming up. So it's a case of what happens then. Do they become a target because they don't have a partner, or does their game suddenly open up? I think all of us at one point or another probably thought, okay, if I was on Survivor and had to bring someone, who would I bring out of my family? I think we've all pretty much had those thoughts in their head. Mine's my dad. But it's very much a case of what do you do, like, if you lose your partner? And let's not kid ourselves. Most of these pairs are going to be separated at one point or another. Like how people navigate that, and if that ends up getting a target pan back saying, "Oh, their partner's gone, they have no one," would people use that and for them or against them? It's the social dynamics of a duo season is so interesting in terms of, okay, you're playing, instead of playing the game for yourself, whether you like it or not, you're tied to the person you brought to Ascendance with. For good or for worse, your games are going to be one way or another tied to each other. It's a matter of how people play that.
Amen.
Extremely exciting dynamic that's about to happen here on Ascendance season 4.
I am too.
Very excited to see what is to come to fruition.
Exactly.
Really good conversation, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. It lasted
The
2 hours,
almost
45
3-hour-long
minutes.
conversation.
I know.
That's stupid.
I told Brandon before this, like, I think it's going to take 25 minutes.